Hello and welcome back to another Thursday. I am exhausted, and my name's Ryan. And here with me tonight is somebody that I admire greatly, that somebody like yourself who's watching or listening to this would probably love to follow on all of your social media. The one and only Mr. Bearded Film Guy, Chris Higgins. Chris, thanks for coming back for number 3.
Dude, thanks for having me back. Bro, I don't think I told you last time how much of a banger your theme song is in the beginning.
Thanks. I'm kind of proud that we commissioned that one. It's pretty great.
Yeah, that's a good one, man. And like I told you right before, third time on, I'm still nervous. So.
Aren't we all? Every week I still get nervous. Don't worry. I'm also freezing. I don't think that I planned on saying this publicly, but in the last handful of months, I've lost like 50 pounds, and ever since like pound number 30, I'm like freezing always. No matter what I do, it's May, about to be June, and I'm like, I literally put on a jacket last night, and I was just dying.
All right, so you have to think, man. You have removed essentially what is like 20 jackets
Yes.
worth of coverage.
Literally.
So
Literally.
yeah, I remember when I lost coming out of high school, I lost like 30 pounds, and I was cold all the time. So same exact thing, man. I get it, dude.
It's bad. When I was younger, my wife and I did keto at the same time, and I lost. So make me not date myself, I guess, but like really show how giant I was at the time. I was really unhealthy. I lost 185 pounds at one point, and I was frozen, absolutely frozen. After a while.
Whoa, 100, dude, that is awesome though.
And then I gained a lot of it back, so it's less awesome. Let's get into some good news rather than gaining weight back. Chris is here tonight to talk about his incredible podcast. If you are not subscribed, please go follow. There's a link in the description below. Follow Chris on Instagram. Follow Chris on YouTube. He's back doing YouTube stuff. We're going to talk about your podcast. What is the podcast so that people can get excited about this?
So the podcast is called Beyond the Blood, and it is a horror commentary podcast. We are not supplying the commentary. We're simply discussing the movie using the commentary tracks as our kind of like our discussion guide.
Yeah.
So, and we're gearing up for so season 1 is actually coming to an end on June 1st, where we did The Burning, and then we're getting ready for season 2, and it's going to be almost like a whole different show compared to what we did in season 1. So I'm very anxiously excited, you know.
It's one of those things where I am honored to have been in one of the first couple episodes, and now you're like a completely different show already. And you're talking about going to a completely different show for season 2. What's been the biggest changes?
I mean, I'm always the type of person where it's never good enough no matter anything that I do anyway.
Right.
You know, it's always got to get better, but we added a second co-host. So we have 3 people now, which completely changed the dynamic, which was incredible. I feel like you have to be open to understanding you're not going to be good at something from the start.
Right.
And that's what allowed us to keep improving. Like season 2 starts in August, and we're doing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And instead of covering 1 commentary, we're covering 4. So there's 4 commentaries. I have 3 books lined up ready to read, like just taking research to a whole nother like level.
Right.
Really, like how do we have fun and make it enjoyable to listen to, but also educate people, but bring a unique conversation point forward. Like I want people to learn. I don't want it to be like you're sitting down for a clinical essay on the movie, but I want you to come out of it knowing more than you did going in. You know what I mean? So that's the level we're trying to get to in season 2. And the lineup of movies is pretty incredible, man. I'm really proud of what we're doing.
It's one of those things where, like you said, you're not trying to be necessarily the highest academic level, but at the same time, you are providing context on the film. You're providing like actual educational information on the film. You are sharing things that most people that are, surface level researching probably wouldn't be able to find out in a day or so. and it's done in an entertaining way through people that clearly love the same movies that we all love. So I think it's an incredible show. It is one of those shows that I look forward to. It's one of those things too where I feel like I'm just hanging out talking about stuff that I want to talk about anyways with people that I like. So it's one of those perfect shows, I think.
Dude, thank you, man. It's crazy, man, because you were on literally the first episode of the show, Spider Labyrinth, we covered, and we're still the only podcast on most networks that have ever covered Spider Labyrinth. And I still get messages to this day of people that are like, "Hey, man, I finally saw that movie. You know, it was great." And then I'm like a little embarrassed because I'm like, "Oh God, that episode." I'm like, "Yeah, revisit the show in new stuff. It gets better." But then too, like even, you know, in all honesty, our episode on The Burning.
Right.
That was a tough movie to discuss to any great lengths because the movie didn't really have that troubled of a past. There's not a lot of info out about it. It's very straightforward.
Yeah.
And we use that as a bookmark because we thought, oh, cool. It's like it's the summer. Let's end on a slasher. But when we started lining up season 2, like season 2 goes from Texas Chainsaw Massacre to Popcorn. From 1991, like a movie that we can research deeply and greatly into extended lengths to a movie that literally has no information out about it. And how do we bring equal entertainment and information to both of those? That's where the challenge lies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. And on top of that, being able to provide a show that is well produced and put out in a way that people can be genuinely excited for the next episode is important. And I'm so excited that we both sort of approached each other at the same time, and hence you being on the show is the perfect time to announce that as of tonight, your podcast is now officially a part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network. So thanks for coming on,
dude. I'm so proud. It's crazy. It was funny, man, because we did an episode with Christian from Planet CHH.
Yeah.
Then I think it was like the week we had talked about joining the network, and we were on a high from that. And then Christian came on, and his first thing was like, he's like, dude, I do a lot of these. He's like, none are this well set up. He was like, you guys, like, it sounds professional. It looks. He's like, you guys are on it. And I was like, what is happening right now? It's like all the stars were aligning. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And speaking of that, being able to promote physical media is important to me. And so a show that's going to talk about audio commentaries is built in with that, the reason for the show to exist even, and for physical media to exist. So it was a no-brainer to me. I respect you. I really appreciate your co-host and the chemistry that you guys have built. So yeah, for me, it would have been a dumb choice to not invite you on. So I'm stoked to have you. And I think, honestly, you fit perfectly with the rest of the roster, including another shout out. One of my favorite podcasts is Ryan Luis Rodriguez's One Track Mind, who he also just covers like literally context behind an audio commentary on every episode. It's different than yours because his is more of like focused with another film fan, and they discuss that audio commentary, but it's not just horror focused. And yours is going down a completely different path. And both of you together, it's just this really like great juxtaposition. And I can't wait. Having both of you on the network is like flipping a coin and just really appreciating the work that goes into these releases.
Yeah, dude. I mean, when you told me that, I got even more stoked to have another podcast on the same thing. It's crazy, man, because I always felt like an outsider loving commentaries as much as I did before I really got into this space. That's when I started realizing like there were other freaks like me that wanted to know this stuff that nobody else cared about. And I feel like it was kind of perfect timing because while we're campaigning for more of this from studios, it seems like we're getting excess of it from boutiques. So it's incredible to see the amount of information that's coming out. And dude, getting audio commentary, like I just saw getting Jason X and Jason Goes to Hell on 4K to have Steve Barton, Uncle Creepy on the commentary tracks, was incredible. He's somebody who lives in the same town as me. So to have access to that and see that on the back of a box, I'm like, what a great time we're in for this stuff,
Yeah, we're going to talk about that a lot tonight, not only with all of our announcements, but our discussion tonight is going to be discussing 2025 physical releases that are really great, like incredible packages where no matter what they have on the disc, it is something that everybody should check out. And I guess not even just on the disc, but like if it comes with a booklet and everything that's associated with it, things that people, if you get it, you're getting more than your money's worth. And it's going to be something that you can spend a lot of time ingesting, because these releases, like I know they're expensive. Usually we're going to talk about a release from a company tonight that I'm still shocked as inexpensive as it is. But if you're spending, we'll say $40 on a brand new limited edition from Arrow or Vinegar Syndrome or Terra Vision or whoever, and you are able to get, like, I don't know, for some of these, the film might be 2 hours, and then you have 2 audio commentaries, a bunch of interviews, a bunch of visual essays, and then a literal like 80-page book to read. You're talking a good 6 or 7 hours worth of entertainment for you and education for $40. That's not a terrible price.
No, dude. And like my friends have a running joke where they call me the bearded booklet guy because all I ever do is campaign people to read their goddamn booklets. So like when you put that into it, you have days invested in this stuff. You know what I mean?
That's true. We're going to get into our normal segments, and we're going to give all kinds of context behind all this stuff soon. So let's get into some pickups first, which before I prompt you to share, I really want to point out, everybody, if you are on Instagram and you are not following Chris, everybody needs to follow Bearded Film Guy on Instagram. I was talking to my partner in crime, Will Dodson, earlier today, and he said, "Who's on your show tonight?" And I said, "Oh, Bearded Film Guy." He goes, "His Instagram is like pornography for collectors." And I went, it is, but I want to hear why. And he goes, because he like zooms in and his finger runs along it, and it's got to find that perfect spot. I was like, Will, this is perfect. I have to repeat this tonight. Genuinely, one of the best accounts on Instagram to appreciate the physical specimens that we're all looking forward to getting into our mailboxes. So, Mr. Bearded Film Guy, what have you picked up lately?
I have to say, like, I'm glad I'm hitting the G spot of physical media. Like,
you gotta find it.
That's what made me feel like. So I'm a little. I don't really have too much new stuff. I sort of like took a little bit of a break away from some stuff, and then I was focusing more on pre-orders.
Right.
I did finally get, though, and I haven't seen it yet. I did get a Nora on 4K from Criterion. I don't know. Did you get this yet?
I've not got it yet, even though I planned on pre-ordering it. It just passed by me, and then I realized it's already May. I might as well wait and save $6 or whatever.
Yeah, so this was on Amazon. I think it was like $30. Like, it wasn't, it was $5 was enough for me to like pull the trigger now compared to the Criterion sale.
Yeah.
But there were two movies that I really needed. It was this, and then the other, which I didn't pull out, but I did pick up an Australian release of Parthenope.
I just want to point out that in a matter of about 90 seconds on this show, you've already said G-spot, and I didn't pull out, just for the record. Go ahead, continue.
It's all planned, man. It's all planned. Speaking of pulling out, I did not pull out. I got the Australian release of Parthenope from A24. So I got that because I was frustrated there was no US release of that. And then I watched that and I was like, fuck, I don't have a Nora yet. I was like, I got to pick up the other big sex film, that's come out lately. So I finally grabbed this. What are your thoughts, by the way, on the Criterion, like these digibook style? Do you still like these?
I don't hate them. I truly enjoy. This is funny because it's a different company entirely, but they use the exact same style. I truly enjoy, like, this is the Deaf Crocodile inflatable sex doll, the Wastelands. I love the simplicity of a Skinovo case that is top to bottom, no ugly Blu-ray thing at the top. So this is fine, but honestly, if they're gonna put enough to make it special, like the Anora release, I'm not fully against it. I like those. It's got to be warranted, and it's got to be thick enough to be substantial, because the ones that are real bad are the ones that are either oddly shaped, where they're like Train Spotting, which is like 2 inches taller and thinner. That's the worst thing in the world. Or it's so thin that it, like, there's no reason to release something like that. Just give me a regular case.
I remember when I first started getting into Criterion, I think it was the first one I had gotten like this was Breaking the Waves, the Lars von Trier film.
Yep.
And I remember kind of being like, I think I was sold by the thickness. Like I just wanted a thick release, you know.
We're just going to continue down the double entendre path tonight. I get it.
So, yeah, I haven't watched this yet. You know, I think Sean Baker, I don't love all of his movies, but
just
every
kidding.
single one. But I feel like with time, they just slowly get better to me. So I'm excited to kind of give this a run and just see, you know, how it treats me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I remember watching Red Rocket and I was like, oh no, I'm not going to like this. And then it was like 4 days later, I was like, oh, I think I like that. And then I just over and over again. So,
yeah.
Yes. But dude, these corners, awful. Every single one of these, the corners get beat up. Maybe it's me.
Yeah. I mean, they do get beat up. I just don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to, like you and I, if you're going to pull them out and watch them, there's nothing wrong with that. Usually.
Do you clean your shelves at all? Do you ever pull everything off and clean them? Or
I do.
It doesn't look like it. Just saying.
Just not super often. All of this behind me has been off in the last couple of weeks.
Okay.
It doesn't look like it, but it has. I'm actually in the process of culling my collection. I've got 6 boxes in front of this desk that are full of releases that I'm losing, and that was only after like 2.5 cases of releases that I went through in the background. So
I do want to say, if anybody wants to help support Beyond the Blood and wants to sell their second sight Texas Chainsaw Massacre 4K release, I will buy it because I don't want to I don't want to pay $200, but I also am kind of tempted to just to get it. You know what I mean? It's one of those things.
Yeah, totally get that.
But speaking of, you already showed it. I did get Inflatable Sex to All the Wastelands. Did pick this up. I haven't taken the plunge into it yet. This is my first Deaf Crocodile release. This thing is a stunner, man. Like this packaging is beautiful. I kind of flipped through it, just checking things out. This is on my list. I'm off the next 3 days, so I'm probably gonna watch it in the next 3 days and dive in. I know you guys. Will has a visual essay on this, right?
Will wrote the visual essay. I edited the visual essay, and then you know what? I'm going to save it. I'm going to be talking about that release in a little while.
Okay.
Speaking of,
we'll save it. But I just hope, you know, I follow a couple guys who are big Deaf Crocodile collectors, and this seems very a different direction for them. That's much more in my realm. I'm not really the biggest animation guy, even though I really appreciate them putting that out. It's just not my thing. But this I'm very, very excited about. So very happy about that. Only a couple more, and actually both are from Indicator. Massive fan of what they're doing with Jean Rollins.
Yeah.
Love. I own every single one. I can't turn them down, and the prices are great. So I did get the Iron Rose, which is probably one of his most accessible, since it's just a girl in a graveyard nightmare situation. But I will say, dude, Indicator, you want to talk about an academic release? These are overwhelmingly like academic, to the point where I've actually put their booklets down and then had to come back to them because I felt like I was being overwhelmed with information. So I picked that up, and then I already told you pre-show. Yeah, there we go. Dude, I'm very like that. As somebody who did not collect Deaf Crocodile before, I'm definitely all in after this one.
Nice.
But I will say one of my favorite releases of the year is Girls Without Shame. This is also from Indicator. This is part of the John Rollins line, but this was directed under a pseudonym because of this is a little. Have you ever seen this movie?
I don't think I've seen this one yet. No.
Okay, so this is kind of like it's like a pulpy crime thriller mixed with sexploitation. It has, which is funny to me, man, because like you watch a movie like Fascination from him, which is arguably probably one of his most well-known.
Definitely most iconic for sure.
Yeah, and I actually think that has more sex than this one does. So I don't know why this gets labeled into a different category. But we'll talk about this more later. This is just one of my favorite discoveries of the year. Wonderful bonus features, great booklet. Absolutely fell in love with this movie. I also fell in love with the short film that was released on this disc as well.
Nice.
So this is one that, I'm over here beating my mic up, that I encourage people to pick up as well. I think that's it for me.
That's a good bundle, though. I mean, that nice and varied. You got lots of different genres there. You seem to know exactly what you got going on.
I try, man. I listen, dude. I can't afford to blind buy anymore, man. I'm broke.
Well, on that front, I'm going to share my two pickups. One of these is a blind buy. One of them is finally it's on Blu-ray buy. Finally it's on Blu-ray is the imprint Australian release of Man Bites Dog, which is one of my favorite formats, I guess. I truly adore found footage, and this is like a mockumentary type film about a serial killer in France who is quite brutal in the way that he carries out everything. Love this movie. I've had the Criterion DVD for years, and to get this on Blu-ray finally is crazy. I feel like it should have been on Blu-ray ages ago, and now Criterion will probably announce a 4K now that I'm holding this. So thanks.
I've heard that's one of those movies I heard of for a long time, and then I kind of forgot about it. And when I saw that announcement, I was like, "Wait, I know that movie."
Yeah, it's very good. It's really if you're not into found footage, and if you're not into like I don't want to use the word extreme because it's not super extreme, but if you're not into like just very blunt serial killer killing, it can be a tough one for some people. It's no August Underground, but it's good.
What part of the human anatomy is flying across the bottom of the slip?
Well, this is one of the only things that frustrates me. And actually, I was going to check. So they do not, I don't think, no, they do not have the original art. They had to Photoshop this. That is a jaw that is going across the bottom. This is not from the original poster art. The original poster art was something that indicated that it was from a child. And I don't know if Imprint chose to do that or they were asked to do that. Either way, odd censorship choice, I guess. But yeah, I'm just stoked to have the movie.
I also love the use of the dentist office screw. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty perfect. This next one is for a genre that I have been dying to really dive into for a long time. I first talked about this on the show, probably a little over 3 years ago now. And Eureka finally bringing out the big guns. I know a lot of you watching have already had this for a little bit now, but the Terror in the Fog set from Eureka, the Wallace Creamy collection. This is basically a box of German gialli type films, and I cannot wait to see these. This is one that I am so eager to see what they pick, and I really hope that people bought this and it did well so that they can say, you know what, let's sell many more of these, because this is the sort of thing that I would love to see them come out with every few months, honestly. If they could support a box set like that, it's mine.
Dude, and the fact that so I looked at that and I didn't know what it was, so I just ran on Amazon to look. $55, dude, is a great price for that.
Yeah, and this has 5 different films, whole bunch of extras, has a booklet with it. This is a winner of a set, guaranteed.
I'm gonna buy it right now.
Incredible. That's it for my pickups. So, what have you been watching lately?
Oh, hold on. Let me pull up Letterboxd for that. Let's see what's going on. Well, I did watch a whole lot of The Burning over the last month.
That makes sense.
To the point where it was like kind of, it was a little bit like I kind of felt overwhelmed with the amount of, the burning that was in my life for a little while.
The amount of Jason Alexander.
Yeah. There's just pure amount, man. I haven't really been watching anything new. We haven't been to the theaters since, oh my God, what was the last thing? Oh, we saw Clown in the Cornfield. Hated it. Just saying. As somebody who read the books, was not a big fan.
Understandable.
trying to see what I've watched that would be fun to talk about. Oh, I did watch the Vinegar Syndrome Shutter partner label release of Influencer. Have you seen that?
Okay. I have not seen Influencer yet, no.
Big surprise because I was a huge collector of that Shutter label,
Yeah.
the Shutter sub label, and then they were putting out kind of what I thought was some of the lower tier Shutter titles, so I stopped going for that complete collection mentality on that.
Right.
So a lot of times if I don't have something specific I want to watch, I'll go on CLZ where I track all my movies, and I'll shake my phone and it'll just give me a random pick.
Yep.
Collection, and that happened. So I threw it on and dude, really loved it. The title card is about 30 minutes into the movie. And then when that does happen, the whole narrative changes. You begin following a different character, and I absolutely loved it. I forget her name. I'm gonna find out real quick though. Her name was, oh, here she is right here. Cassandra Naud is, I think, how you say her last name. She was fantastic in it. Just a really good, as I get older in my young 30s, I begin to kind of resent technology a little bit.
Right.
You know what I mean? So even anymore, to watch a movie and see a cell phone, a modern day cell phone, is kind of like nauseating. It's like, oh, I don't want to see this. But the use of her actually using in the movie, there's a scene where she uses like really, really, really advanced like Hollywood level technology to pull off what she's doing.
Right.
Like, oh my God, this is actually kind of scary. And now it's funny too, because that was only like 2 weeks ago, and now we have the Google VO3 stuff going on with the AI. And I feel like I'm kind of living in the influence in that world of that movie for a little bit. So I watched that. Dude, I've been loving the Arrow Video Bullets and Betrayal.
Good box set.
Collection, man.
Yeah.
I've been ranking those over on my Letterboxd, and every movie I watch, something else is kind of taking the front. I watched Stranger from 91. I watched Carlos as well out of that box set. What's interesting about that set and about the V Cinema in general is how that box set starts with a 58-minute like nonstop action movie, right?
Yep.
It's great. And then every other movie is extremely slow and like totally different pace. Because I went into that box set thinking everything's going to be like that, and it's not. And now every movie I've watched has become better than that first one. So that's an interesting box set, man. I like that a lot.
Jesus, Russ, thank you. Russ just donated $100. Appreciate that. Received Belladonna of Sadness 4K and some extra courtesy things from me. Yes, thanks, Russ. Appreciate you completely. That's huge. I don't even know what to say to that. That's amazing.
Man, that was incredible.
Russ, you're huge. Appreciate that.
Trying to think. Oh, you know what I did start watching? I got into the I'm gonna say it wrong. The Dai Gothic box set from Radiance.
Dai.
Okay, there we go. I finally got into that, and I watched The Ghost of Yotsuya.
Okay.
And that actually, dude, it's been a long time since I've been creeped out by a movie that really kind of unnerved me. I was watching it at night, dark house, and I kept going. My wife was in the bedroom, and I kept pausing it and going into the room. This happened, going back and forth. Really, the only other thing I think I would love to talk about is I finally saw Strange Darling.
Oh, how'd you feel about that one?
Dude, I fucking loved it, man.
Nice.
I don't. You've seen it, right?
Not only have I seen it, I've interviewed the director on my channel. So yeah.
So everyone kept telling me once you know the twist, the movie's not the same. So I watched it, found out the twist. I was like, okay. Then I watched it again, and it did not. It didn't change my view of the movie at all.
Right.
There's so much style to that movie. Every shot is beautiful. JT Molnar is how you say it, right?
Yeah, JT Molnar, and the big thing is it was shot by Giovanni Ribisi. This is the first film that he was cinematographer on. That's crazy.
Yeah, dude, like absolutely loved every bit of it, and I have the Icon 4K.
Me too. Good choice.
Which looked stunning. Yeah, just all around, man. I'm so bad with names. What is his name that's in that?
Kyle. No? Okay. Kyle Gallner.
Gallner is how you say it. Yes. Kyle Gallner.
All of us that are fans of his are the Gal nerds.
Oh, the Gal nerds.
Yes.
That's at all. Listen, bro, I need a Willa Fitzgerald fan club that I can be a part of.
She was incredible in that movie.
Dude, she's great. Because I had watched Reacher, and she's in season 1 of that. Love that. And then I watched Fall of the House of Usher. She was in that. Great. And then, Strange Darling. Loved it, man. I really hope one day down the line we get a more deluxe release of that. I would love some more interviews, some more insight, something, man. That movie was so goddamn good.
I know where you can get one good interview with him. And then on top of that, I get to reveal he didn't even know that his movie was getting a 4K release. I got to share that with him live in the interview. That was pretty fun. So
spoiler, what was his reaction like?
He was like, "No way, that's great," because he loves physical media. It was shot on film. Like, it truly means a lot to him. So to be shown that, he was stunned. We after we were done, he had planned on hanging up and leaving immediately, and we ended up talking for like 8 or 10 minutes because he was so shocked by that, and we just geeked out on a bunch of stuff. He's incredible.
Well, he's going to be real shocked when when the American 4K does come out, and everyone's mad because they have to double dip to pick it up, as studios do.
Yeah, we shall see if that happens eventually. I really hope somebody treats it right, because I do think that it's a beautiful movie. I want to see it on rewatch. I've still only seen it the one time, but even if the twist doesn't hold up for some people, which that was the big thing, it was this big marketing campaign of no spoilers, please, whatever. Mm-hmm. And if the twist doesn't work for you the second time, the big thing is those two lead performances are stellar through and through. There's not a moment of like, nah, they're just phoning it in. No, everything about them is completely genuine and full and really lived in characters.
And I love, like, I'm all for building upon like the world that you're bringing the viewer into and making it expansive. But at the same time, I also love feeling like I'm in a chokehold and I'm forced into this situation. I feel stuck the whole time. And that's what Strange Darling felt like to me. And the movie's not tense all the way through. There are moments where it breathes, but it always stays in this very small window of movement, I feel like, for me. So I was locked in the whole entire time, and that's definitely because of the visuals help for sure, man. That movie is shot when they're both in the truck just in front of the neon sign. I even love like even little things like Kyle Gallner's the red flannel jacket that he wears and how that pops off, and it's all great, man. I'm kind of a bit fascinated with that movie right now.
Yeah, I mean, the colors alone in that movie, to go from neon to this like really robust nature scenes that they go to, it's just kind of perfect and shot very well. Giovanni Ribisi could be a very talented cinematographer for years if he chooses that.
Dude, that long take of Willa Fitzgerald just in slow motion running through the field, and it just keeps going and going and going. Right away, I was like, oh man, I'm in. Here we go. I don't think I picked up my phone once during both times I watched that movie.
Good.
Which is a big
recent watches for me. We are about 3 weeks late, but my wife and I've watched the first 4 Final Destination movies this week again for the first time in ages. I still stand by part 2 is the best one. Part 1 is second best. Part 3 is very good. Part 4 is a piece of shit, dog crap, terrible movie. But it still has a couple fun kills that makes it worth watching. And Part 5 is very, very good. So I'm not ranking Part 5 below Part 4. But at that point, like it's a really great franchise. Not the highest of highs, but certainly a very low in part 4. I'm dying to see part 6, hoping I can get to it in a theater, but I'm guessing not, because I'm probably going to see the big hot new horror movie that everybody's posting reviews on that premiered today. So I'll be seeing that on Saturday, hopefully.
Yeah.
But for theater watches, want to highlight that last weekend, KB and I, who KB was in the chat, we went out last Sunday and watched Friendship together. And gotta say, I adore Tim Robinson with all that he is. That movie is like a Tim Robinson wet dream of him being given all of the money to make a very, very long episode of I Think You Should Leave. That is silly, absurd, just ridiculous, and I absolutely loved this movie. It is really great modern comedy, so much cringe, so much just awkward situations, but I'm awkward and cringe as fuck, so it definitely fit with me. So
did you or KB did either of you guys use the AAA 24?
No, neither. I used A-list. I've got AMC A-list. I do have the AAA 24, but yeah.
Yeah, so AAA 24 for Friendship, they did the free ticket that the owner of AAA 24 has, and then he did a $5 ticket to bring a friend, which I think was the best decision they possibly could have made for that movie.
It's brilliant. That, and then not to be like, let's make this a friendship episode or anything, but they dropped merch today, which is hilarious. They have a Subway themed A24 logo hat, which is just hilarious. They've got pants that are styled like the pants in the movie. They've got another hat that just says best friends, or no, sorry, it says male friendship. It looks incredible, and I can't wait to see what they do for the disc on this one. I really hope that they put a commentary with Tim on there, because I would love to just hear him talk about this shit for so long, because he never gets the opportunity to. And then on top of that, give us a gag reel. You know that some of these lines, they had to deliver some of them like 45 times.
I think it's so funny that a big part of their marketing was I love you, man, for sickos.
Yep.
And I was like, man, people still remember that movie? Like, the general public still remembers that movie?
Yeah, I Love You, Man is a favorite of mine, too. And it's hilarious that Paul Rudd was in both and fulfills that everyday man kind of perfectly in both movies. I
will be seeing Bring Her Back this weekend, thanks to A24. Dude, worth the $4, $5 that you pay a month just to get the free ticket for each A24 wide release.
Yeah, and then on top of that, you get the $5 free in their store every single month. You get access to things early. It's kind of crazy. It's wild how much you get.
The best part about it is that I go months forgetting about the credit, and then like I just got Death of a Unicorn for free because I didn't get for like 5 months, and I was like, I go on the website and I'm like, oh look, $25.
How much is this release? Oh, serendipity.
Yeah, perfect. Wow.
So perfect. So yeah, that was recent watches and recent pickups. We're going to be talking about announcements, and then like I said, after that we're going to be discussing three releases from 2025 that are complete packages that we both love, that we are recommending everybody pick up. Again, announced tonight that Beyond the Blood is now part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network. Newest episode with that is going to be out in just a few days, right?
June 1st, The Burning.
June 1st. Can't wait for it. All right. Anything else you want to cover before we get into these?
Did I mention how much I didn't like Clown in a Cornfield? We can move on.
What did you hate about it? As somebody, because I've never read the novel, and I didn't love the movie, but I certainly didn't hate it. I really hated the like, old people are so stupid and so are extra young people. It was so over the top.
So my wife was a massive fan of the book, and then she forced me to read it, and I fell in love with it. And then I actually think the second book is the best of the three. I haven't finished the third yet, but I can already tell, I like the second one the best. It has a lot of the attitude of the book. The book just has a meaner spirit to it that I think would have fit better. And dude, it's one of those books where, as somebody who watches a lot of movies, you can visualize everything. And there's so much that they got right. In my opinion, the biggest misstep was the humor. It threw me off so bad, dude. Like, and I think I just have a hard time seeing people like hitting vapes instead of smoking cigs. You know what I mean? Like, I have a hard time with that. We got about halfway through, and I remember I remember looking at my wife and being like, oh, well, it was like, no, we got like 10 minutes in. I looked at my wife and I was like, oh no, like this could be bad. And then we got halfway through and I was like, if my wife wanted to get up and leave right now, which she kind of wanted to, I was like, I would. I just was not enjoying myself. So I don't know, man. It's also like, I don't know how to put it into words. It's faithful to the book enough that I feel like it's going to bring fans to the book. But I think you're going to find the book to be more satisfying to hardcore horror fans, because a lot of my hardcore horror fans didn't like the movie, and a lot of my friends who are like, oh yeah, I love Scream, they really liked it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm interested to see how I like it. When I'm gonna pick it up on physical media, I'm interested to see kind of how I like it a second time, because I like Eli King. You know, I was a big fan of Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, but as of right now, that's kind of where I stand with it.
I think one of the biggest things, as somebody that didn't read the book, I don't know that I was truly ready for the weird tone, I guess. It's not really like tonal shifts, but it's like they approach it as essentially like a YA novel, but with adult horror mixed in.
Yeah, which I always thought the YA part of it was kind of wrong, because I remember going to Barnes and Noble and it's all over the young adult section. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. I was like, I kind of feel like that more belongs in the heart, especially the second book. What's funny to me about the movie is the titular clown in the cornfield, the main cornfield massacre scene is like 5 minutes long in the movie. And it's a major part of the book that's much broader and much more mean and angry. Like, the book pays off the ending really well. The movie rushes right through it. And then in this, you just get a weird Joker impression at the end. I didn't feel like it earned the ending. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's, but I look, I could be in the smallest minority on that. So
yeah, I get that. I thought there was a lot to like about the way they handled the horror, but I could see if it's either not super faithful to the book, or if it just didn't grab what you loved about the book. Yeah, you're not going to love it. That makes sense.
The beauty of film, man, everybody sees it a little bit different, right?
For every single title, that's the joy of the subjectivity.
Yeah, man.
All right. Let's get into some announcements then. I know it's kind of weird to cover this since it's been a week old, but we didn't get to hear your thoughts on it. So we're going to go through some of these VS titles that came out last week. They're shipping for everybody. I don't think everybody has gotten shipping notifications. Clearly everybody hasn't, but even not all subs have yet. So those are coming out still. I know that it's still very early. I think the sale closed down like 3 days ago. A handful of people I know in the Discord have gotten shipping notifications. So The Dark Half, this was announced as a 4K release. This is releasing as part of the sale. This is shipping in the next couple weeks. And the big thing here is this is yet another George A. Romero 4K. This is one that had been released previously by Scream Factory. Have you seen The Dark Half, and any thoughts on this?
Yeah, dude, I'm really excited about this. My brother-in-law has recruited me in helping him find the Blu-ray for months leading up to like this getting announced. I also love that the George Romero filmography is across so many labels now.
Yep.
So very happy to see this. I was not expecting this. Like, this was not on my radar.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those weird things where I didn't see Vinegar Syndrome going down the path of upgrading a lot of titles from other labels, but now they've done quite a few. It'll probably continue, I got to be honest. One of the weird things that I've seen, especially working with some of these companies now, is a lot of people that are really deep in this stuff, like the people watching and listening to this right now, love brand new titles. They're like, if this has never been even on DVD, I'm stoked on it. This is incredible. But a lot of people who are like, they've been, kind of adjacent to the horror scene or whatever. They, not just because they're mainstream, but they really love titles that they could upgrade. And so upgrades sell really well. So it's a weird dichotomy. I know people clamor for those brand new titles, but you got to get some of these. And to be honest, like you said, it's a George A. Romero film going to 4K. I can't really complain about that.
And in this case, people like me who I did not get the Screen Factory one, and I did not pay the inflated prices for the resale market for it. So to me, it's perfect because I can either pay the $40 for this, or I can sit back and hope that the prices drop on eBay for those resellers. No, I'm just gonna get this, man. Like this is awesome.
Yeah, if you want the Blu-ray, I'll sell it to you for very cheap. This is one that is another upgrade to 4K. They're also putting out Let's Scare Jessica to Death, and this is one of those upgrades that I cheer for because I adore this movie. I think this is something that for me I place in a similar style and feeling and like really heavily championed title as I do like Messiah of Evil that Radiance put out in that really nice release over the last couple of years. I really hope people discover this and love it. This movie it's not slow, but it's kind of like a melodramatic horror movie that something about it just speaks to me. And I adore this movie. It's got style dripping through and through. Have you seen this one?
I haven't. I remember being interested in this when Scream Factory, because it was Scream Factory, right, that put it out?
It's been released by Scream Factory and Imprint, actually.
Okay, yeah. And I remember like looking at it, and it was one of those things that I just kind of just forgot about eventually. But this I'm excited to pick up. I am going to check it out.
Yeah, and Brian points out the Imprint disc does have some unique special features. Imprint, I feel like, is moving away from licensing out some of their special features. So if you're an Imprint collector or you have quite a few of theirs, you might want to hold on some of those when upgrades get announced, because I have a feeling some more of those features and visual essays that are honestly usually pretty incredible over at Imprint are going to be fairly exclusive, I think. So heads up on that.
That's a great slip box too. I love the coloring on that.
It's a really great cover. I truly love this slip cover. It really gets the tone of this movie. It's like this like northeast sort of foggy, perfect out of nowhere house that you are just enamored with immediately. I love this movie. This one, however, is the one that I'm most excited about this month. Their VSA line, they're releasing Iron Angels 1 through 3. Is this one you're interested in?
So this is slowly something I'm getting into, like the Hong Kong kind of action stuff. Yep. So just based on cover art alone, I'm interested. Do I know anything about them? No.
I think most people don't know much about at least the second and third one. Those two have been very difficult to see for years. The first one has been like on bootlegs, and I think there was a European Blu-ray that was released of the first one that wasn't even super accurate. But there's lots of stuff going on here. We got interviews. We've got a booklet with new essays by Michelle Kisner, Madeline Sutton, and Erica Schultz. Two of those have been on this channel multiple times. Adore the people associated with this. And yeah, this was a must for me. And it's sold very, very well. I hope people are into this one because it looks incredible.
Yeah, that looks cool.
Next one is Charlie One Eye. This is another one that's had another release on Blu-ray from somebody else. This is coming from VS as part of their VSL line. I also heard this might be getting released from another company over in Europe at some point. Not thinking like Arrow or anything like that. Probably somebody a little smaller. But yeah, this is one that I was interested in. Is this a movie that you're looking at?
I just read the second paragraph on the description in your, and that sold me. The part where it is, what's it say there?
Unusually racially focused entry in the canon of the anti-Western.
Sold. No, it was the, it lays on both allegory and graphic violence liberally.
Yes.
That sold me. No, I know nothing about this, man.
Yeah, and the big thing, of course, Richard Roundtree is great in everything he touches. So this is going to be a big one.
That looks awesome.
Next, the Cinematograph line for their second title in the month of May. They're releasing the Breathless remake on 4K. Shout out to Justin LaLiberty, who just loved this movie and went after the rights after Fun City had released it on Blu-ray, and now it's out on 4K. And a fairly beautiful slipcover, I think. Love the style that they went with on this. And then this does have a not only a 4K release compared against a Blu-ray that didn't look incredible, to a lot of extras. We've got a booklet. This looks like a pretty stunning release if you love this movie too.
Yeah, I pre-ordered this. I have that Blu-ray, and was not a big fan of that. So
yeah, I won't say it was low quality necessarily, but you could tell it was Fun City just did what they were given, and they could not do much else, unfortunately.
it was one of those cases where I remember buying it blind and then putting it on, and I was like, "Is this a Blu-ray? This is a."
Next, the Degausser line is putting out Criminally Insane 2. This is the next in the Nick Millard series of films that I believe last year when they announced Criminally Insane, the double feature that they did, I think announced that they had access to like 15 of his films. So by this point, we will have had, I want to say 4 or 5 of them across these 2 releases. So there should be still quite a few left coming. So it's nice to see that they're giving love to Nick Millard. This is great stuff. Have you seen Criminally Insane or Crazy Fat Ethel or whatever you know it as?
Are these shot? They're shot on video, right? They're SOV.
Yes, they are.
SOV is one of those like weird little, I don't know if you would call it like a subgenre that I haven't.
A format, not a genre.
Format, yeah. That I haven't really gotten into too heavily. I'm hoping the cliff set from Severin kind of helps me transition into it. I've put my feet in the waters a couple times and always struggled with it, but since then I feel like I've matured a lot in my going into the unknown film expertise. So I'm hoping this is something that eventually I'll get into. I remember when I was reading the description just now, I had like a weird flashback to when Crazy Fat Ethel came out and being like, what the hell is that?
Yeah. Yeah, this is one of those titles that a lot of people know at least by name, and I think a lot of people are going to be excited about. So go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say it's a cool slipcover.
It is, yeah, and I really like the first one, so I hope people either appreciate it and find something in it that they can enjoy, because it's a fun one. And then some variant slipcovers. Showgirls got a new slipcover that is, in my opinion, vastly superior to the original one. From Beyond got a brand new slipcover, and the Amityville Horror got a brand new slipcover, which a lot of people online upset about the Amityville Horror one, which I think is hilarious because it looks pretty decent to me. It's just minimalist. The From Beyond one I like quite a bit. I didn't replace this, but Vinegar Syndrome absolutely misspelled Paul Verhoeven's name the first time they posted this, and you can see that in the shot right there. They did fix it afterwards. I'm curious how far along, if they had printed them all and they were in the warehouse and they're just waiting on a giant bonfire to lose all these misprinted slipcovers.
I think I was the one who pointed it out on your Facebook and Instagram posts.
Yep, you are certainly one of them.
I told Celeste that I wanted so badly one of these misspelled ones, just to say I have it. You know what I mean? Just to be like, yeah, I got that. Yeah,
it's going to be way more rare than this one, even. On top of that, they're putting out some of their Degausser video deluxe VHS releases. They did Criminally Insane and Criminally Insane 2. Then they did Satan's Black Wedding, which was the other Nick Millard title that they released last year. These are cool, I guess, if you're into VHS. I like that they light up. I would never purchase one of these, but nice.
They're cool. I'm not gonna buy them, but they're cool as hell.
Then Vinegar Syndrome released their very first paperback zine. This is Vinegar, what do they call it? Vinegar Zine-drome #1. This looks really, really freaking cool. Had to get this myself. Priced at only $6.66. That's pretty awesome for me.
Yeah, that's cool. I love like the fact that A24 does this. I love that they do it. These are so cool, man. I'm all for more companies doing stuff like this.
Me too. Please. I love that Radiance has done theirs. Let's see every company put out a zine. Then over at the Melusine side, we got A Girl's Best Friend from the Quality X line is coming out on Blu-ray, and could not show this last week, but now that I have it properly censored, there is the slipcover, newly scanned, restored in 4K. We got a feature-length commentary by Glenn Kenny on this one. Melusine, you get anything from the Melusine side ever?
Yeah, I have a couple. The thing that's funny to me is like I already feel I already have to like overcome some like late night anxieties of putting these on anyway to enjoy them, and then I can't imagine putting them back on to watch with a commentary. I mean, like, I love
Yeah.
there are commentaries, but to put this on and be like, all right, let me listen to this commentary while this is playing feels a little, a
Yeah.
little much with me.
Corinne is right. This one's kind of odd because Ron Jeremy is the big male star of this one, and Ron Jeremy, not necessarily a savory character.
Oh, Ron Jeremy.
As part of the Peakorama line, they put out a triple feature of Hot and Saucy Pizza Girls, Hot Legs, and California Gigolo. Love me Hot and Saucy Pizza Girls. I do kind of feel some surprise that they did not do this as a standalone release. Go 4K, make it a big Melusine release that is super fancy, because it's one of it's a VS title. It's one of those titles that they're kind of known for. It was one of their big first adult titles. So I believe also this dropped some bonus features that were on the DVDs for these films. But I'm glad that people can get these in HD, and Pizza Girls is a super fun movie.
Yeah, so I've never seen it, but I've heard of it. So this was one that I pre-ordered.
Yes, good. Mozart's Ghost said they need a t-shirt with the Pizza Girls too. Yes, that t-shirt used to be available a long time ago, and they brought it back. So it's really awesome that it's here. Stan wants to know, is there gay content on Melusine? Of course there is. Yeah, there's quite a few on there. Somebody get a clip. Will says, somebody get a clip of Ryan saying, love me some Hot and Saucy Pizza Girls. If you do, please email it to my wife. I'll send you my email for her. So there's that. And then the merch that they released over on Melusine was Orgy Butter Soap this time. This is a sudsy sensual interplay of tender peaches, luscious cream, and warm honey in 6 shades of naked. I'm super proud to be, as Celeste pointed out here, there's only one previous post ever on Instagram with the Orgy Butter hashtag. Mine is number 2.
This is very fitting, considering Sydney Sweeney just announced her bath water scented soap with Squatch. So this is an interesting conversation.
Great timing on that, Sydney. Good job. They also put out some other merch. They got this really interesting, crazy detailed print that they did. They've got a brand new VS skate deck, some cinematograph stickers, some cups, and camping mugs for the first time. They got a dog bowl that they actually printed the words dog bowl on, which I'm still confused by that. Is the dog supposed to understand that this one's a dog bowl and this one's for popcorn? Why is it labeled?
All right, cool.
I don't get it. And then a Breathless style cinematograph bumper sticker, and then here is the cat mug. Like a lot of the merch, just very flummoxed by the dogs that can read.
Yeah, I love these because I only live maybe 3 hours away from the archive in Connecticut. And every time I take the trip, which is once a year, in the next month, I'll be making a trip up there. They always have a ton of these laying around, and it's always the one extra thing I grab on my way out.
Nice. From Dustin, random question. What is going on with the 28 Days Later 4K release? It was announced, but then never showed up on any sites other than Zavvi in the UK. It was announced for the UK only, and only on Zavvi UK. I have a feeling that it is possibly being questioned because of the response to it. There's a lot of people upset that it was being released in 4K because it was shot in a resolution that does not gain anything from going up to 4K. That's just speculation on my part. WB could be looking at something that they do for that and make it different. They could also be working on a release of the sequel, not promoting it or releasing it elsewhere until the new film gets closer and they're marketing that more heavily. Who knows? I would love it if it continues to come out. Supposedly it is coming out in the US as well, but no proof of that yet.
I feel like that's one of those movies that could come out on a modern day VHS that I would buy.
I wouldn't buy it on VHS because I don't have a VCR, but man, I'd still like to have it on a good Blu-ray. I own the film, so I want everybody else to be able to have access to it.
I was one of those people in the group chat that I'm in that was kind of I don't know why this exists. I was I don't know what this is bringing to it. I just want just give me the Blu-ray back in print.
Right. That's all we need.
That's all I want.
That's all we need. They also put out some new shirts. Decent designs this time. Love that they're putting out some good stuff and people can get them. I own too many, so I will not be buying a Vinegar Syndrome shirt maybe ever again. They also released Degausser video soap, and as you can see, it is movie theater popcorn scented And to me, no thank you. They also put out, as part of the Ibon press line, the New York Ripper 2 comic.
Nice.
Looking good. That is everything for Vinegar Syndrome. Since we didn't have you on to talk about the announcements for Vinegar Syndrome that came out before that, any thoughts on like the Dirty Work release or the other handful of titles? I can't even bring up the site and talk about them because I don't remember them all. But
it was like Golden Child.
Golden Child, that was the VSU, yeah.
Yeah, I just not like I was never the biggest comedy fan, you know what I mean? Like growing up, like I like comedies. To me, it's really weird to have Vinegar Syndrome and Dirty Work, Vinegar Syndrome and Golden Child. Like the thought of that is very strange to me, but it was also strange to think of them releasing Congo, you know, all that stuff as well. Like Jade is one of the releases that I'm very excited about, you know, from this drop as well.
Right.
That's more, you know, when I think of Vinegar Syndrome, that's more what I go for. I appreciate them getting these titles and putting them out. They're just like oddly mainstream for me. You know what I mean? Coming from a company like Vinegar Syndrome.
I get that. I don't really feel that way about Dirty Work. I definitely feel that way about Golden Child.
More Golden Child than Dirty Work, yeah.
Dirty Work, I think, fits, especially with how they literally poured their heart and soul into building that dirtier cut. But it is a wild time to be getting Eddie Murphy comedies from the company that started out with Herschel Gordon Lewis adult films.
See, that's when I think Vinegar Syndrome, man, that's immediately what I go to. And I guess that's kind of like an interesting discussion to kind of figure out like how do these labels, you know, continue building and moving forward, you know, getting access to these more mainstream lines. Like I guess you can kind of argue that they have to do this, you know, to use those big titles to help fund the smaller stuff. It's just an odd pairing to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, the truth of the matter is Vinegar Syndrome is not just two guys in a dingy film lab anymore. They are literally a corporation, and to satisfy like corporate money and all of that stuff, you kind of always have to be growing. And to grow, you're going to have to go mainstream. That's just period. You're going to have to do Michael Mann. You're going to have to do Eddie Murphy. You're going to have to do some of these titles that will make people go, oh, shit, a boutique label is putting out Jade. I always wanted to see the extra cut. Let's get Jade. That's great.
Yeah, I think it's balanced, though. For every one of those you put out, you have to put out something that feels much more in your traditional wheelhouse. So as long as they keep that balance, I have really no complaints. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, to another company that's pretty big in the boutique lines, let's talk about Severin. This time, we got a few releases coming from them. These are all coming in early June from the Severin website. We are getting first a box set called High Tension, 4 films by Lamberto Bava. This is the second Lamberto Bava box set to be announced for 2025, which is insanity. This is a worldwide Blu-ray premiere of this. This was a anthology TV series, essentially, and we are getting all of the films that were a part of that. This is going to have 5 different movies in this, all of them scanned in 2K from the OCN with the first time ever English language track. This is a pretty big deal, and one that I think is going to make a lot of people happy. I know you're a big Severin fan. How'd you feel about the box set?
Dude, so a couple notes on this one. One, well, pre-ordered immediately. Secondly, I can't wait to get this in August before Cauldron actually puts out theirs because they just keep pushing it back. Third, I love all the people in the comments that were mad that they called this High Tension and it wasn't Alexandra Aja's High Tension. That also gave me lots of joy. But yes, very excited about all the Bava going on in the physical media world right now.
All those people that are upset, and I guess either deleted their comments or something. But not only that, they literally couldn't read the first few lines of this that say it is named after the anthology TV series. Come on.
I think it was Severin's post. All these people were like, damn, I thought this was the Alexandra Aja movie. I'm like, oh.
We did not need that.
But no, dude, I'm stoked for this. Like, it's amazing when you start dipping your toes into the world of Italian horror and giallo, and you start peeling back all the layers and you realize how many movies are out there you've never heard of before. And every single time a new Bava set pops up, it just is like introducing a whole new world to me. You know what I mean? From a filmmaker that I thought I was already pretty in tune with. So yeah, I love this, man. I can't wait for this.
And then on top of that, they also just did The Mask of Satan, another one of Lamberto's films that was part of their Black Friday releases.
Yeah. I'm very excited for this.
And then they were not done yet. They are also releasing The Odd Job from 1978. This is a Peter Medak film. This is a worldwide Blu-ray premiere starring Graham Chapman, which got me excited about this. Honestly, all of these sound really great. You've got the film and a bunch of special features, audio interview with Peter Medak. You've got some Zoom reunions, some other interviews, lots of stuff coming on here. And then to go with this, they're also doing The Ghost of Peter Sellers from 2018. This is a documentary that Peter Medak did that is supposedly really great, that is talking about the Peter Sellers film, The Ruling Class, that they could not get the rights to. I'm sure that Severin wanted to be able to release that as a double feature. MGM is not interested in licensing it out, unfortunately, but this is what we got from them. Again, lots of good extras on this. It's got The Ghost Inside, the scrapbook. Peter Medak presents his production albums from The Ruling Class through Zorro the Gay Blade. More on that. We got a visual essay from Daniel Kramer, who was just on the channel. And then the one that I am most excited about, Negatives. This is a worldwide Blu-ray premiere as well, another Peter Medak film. This one has 2 discs, and the second disc also has Sparrows Can't Sing, which is a bonus film. Lots of stuff on here. And then beyond that, wanted to do one quick shout out tonight. This was announced on May 23rd, which was the 1-year anniversary of the passing of Lee Gambin. And to make it even more special, this has bonus features that were produced by Lee Gambin before his passing that we didn't even know were coming. Nobody knew that Lee was working on these and that he was able to finish some of these. There's a visual essay that he did on here. There is a commentary that Lee was able to be a part of with Peter. Lee is just an incredible person, helped get me into this industry, and I can't wait to pick this up. But Peter Medak, how do you feel about all these announcements?
They're all going to be brand new for me, man. One thing, a lot of last year when I was really heavy on YouTube, I did a year where I covered every single Severin release, which led to a very short conversation with David Gregory. I was very happy about. I was like, yes. The thing I found with them is, one, they've become one of my favorite labels that I collect, but 2, I love blind buying from them. Like, I will go in blind as a bat into something from them, and I always just have the time of my life. So for this, I bought the bundle because I was like, I want the Bava box set. I was like, and then I'm just going to dive into these as well.
Yeah, this is going to be a big one. I'm definitely considering the bundle because everything is at least intriguing and very interesting. And at best, it's like, this sounds incredible, and I'm dying to see this almost right now.
Yeah, I mean, blind buying it's so tricky in this day and age because there's so much stuff coming out that we want. And, these things aren't cheap. You know what I mean? It's not like you could just have, very few people have the money to just blow on it.
Right.
But from a label like this that I've learned, I've really enjoyed doing it. I have more confidence doing it.
Yeah, that's the thing. You start trusting the curation of somebody running a label, and suddenly you can just know if they announce it, I'm probably going to at least like it, and at best love it.
And the other thing too is when they do these announcements, I will always first listen to the Severin podcast, because that will give me a good idea if there is something I'm not interested in, hearing them kind of discuss it. And also too, hearing them discuss sometimes the amount of work that goes in. Like, I remember last year listening to the release where they did Franco's Dracula Prisoner of Frankenstein.
Yep.
And hearing them talk about the amount of work that went into it made me excited to buy it. And then I watched it and I was like, oh, this is not good. But I appreciate, all the... So, sometimes it works out better than others.
It's a good pick. Next, they're also doing a Lamberto Bava enamel pin as part of that set. And then, as Chris just mentioned, the bundles, they've got the Medak Rarities bundle. You can get just his 3 films that they're putting out fairly cheaply. You can get all 3 of them for $60. That's a pretty damn good deal. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, they've got the Medak meets Bava bundle, which has everything that we just talked about, the Bava box set, the pin, and the 3 films for $135. Honestly, pretty damn good pricing from Severin, considering a lot of people complain when they put out a 4K that's $60. Now, I'm not saying that's not expensive, but this is pretty cheap for everything you get with all this.
I'd say that comes out to be a little less than $20 a title.
Yeah, something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, less than $20 a title and a bonus pin. That's great.
Yeah. And if you're like me and you do pay in 4, you can be broke over a period of 8 weeks.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but yeah, that's life when you're a fan of multiple boutiques right now. That's for sure.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Speaking of multiple boutiques, one that I love with most of my heart, Deaf Crocodile, has just announced their newest title. It is The Tragedy of Man from 2011. This is a wild, wild film that if you've never heard of this, you should probably look into it more. This is 23 years in the making, where it is a bunch of different styles of animation put together to tell one story. And as Dennis writes it here, this is the legendary Hungarian animator Marcel Jankovic's, I probably said Marcel wrong, I'm sorry, kaleidoscopic masterwork, a seemingly endless animated scroll of Gorgon-like demons, cave paintings that spring to life, bleeding together, one brutal age dissolving into another, all of human history passing like pages in a flip book. Adapted from the dramatic poem by 19th century author Imre Medak, that's probably wrong as well. The Tragedy Man is no children's cartoon. It's one of the most visually stunning and wildly ambitious animated epics ever made. This is a 2-hour-long film that is just beautiful to look at. We got a new video interview on here with one of the key animators. Another new video interview on here with the director of the National Film Institute of Hungary. We've got a new visual essay by Evan Chester, new commentary by Adam Rakoff, James Hancock, and Martin Kessler. We've got, of course, the deluxe edition has the booklet with writing by Walter Chaw, who's in every single booklet that they do, and another new essay by Mitch Horowitz. And if you are not into Deaf Crocodile stuff yet, everybody needs to take a look at this. This is one that when I was deciding to help promote last week for Deaf Crocodile, I couldn't even choose which stills to use because every single one I wanted to share with the world to be like, look at this. Isn't it gorgeous? It is so much in this movie that you are going to be stunned by literally every single frame.
Fuck, dude. Did I say earlier I wasn't into animation? Did I say that?
I don't remember.
I feel like I need this, dude. This is yeah, I think I'm gonna end up picking this one up.
I don't think you will be let down. The fact that it's so many different styles ambitiously put together to tell a 2-hour story, I think a lot of people are going to be surprised by this one.
I think
Brian's here. What's going on, Brian?
This is probably going to be the one that gives me that push into animation. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Daniel says, if I recall correctly, Tragedy Man's the longest traditionally animated film. Is that true? Oh, sorry, it's not 2 hours. It's 2 hours 40 minutes.
Man, yeah, I think I'm gonna blind buy this, man, and just go into it like, dive right in. 2 hours and 40 minutes.
If this gets you excited about animation, they've got like 9 other titles that you're gonna want to pick up because their animated stuff is some of my favorites.
God, man, 2 hour. I'm a huge fan of long movies. Like, I love them. I'm one of those guys that, like, when Shout Factory announced Alexander, I was like, yep. Hell yeah. 2 hours and 40 minutes of animation broken into 15 different episodes with tons of. This sounds like a wet dream for somebody like me who's so into visual.
It is a visual feast.
All right, sold.
So that is Deaf Crocodile. For some behind-the-scenes context for people that have questions, this is replacing the last title in the last round of 6-month subscriptions for Deaf Crocodile. So if you were subscribed through Diabolic, you are going to be getting this. Your subscription ends with this title. However, if you are wanting to become a Deaf Crocodile subscriber, subscriptions end for Deaf Crocodile on May 31st. So you only got a couple days left of that. Make sure that you go get that if you want. It's fairly cheap to ensure that you get the next 6 months. And honestly, the next 6 months from them are some of the best releases they've ever put out. And I'm not just saying that because I worked on, I think, literally all of them at this point. But it's going to be stuff that you are excited about. They've got multiple multiple box sets of multiple discs. They've got multiple releases that you're going to have your mind blown by, specifically 2551 that they keep promoting every single day. This is easily the best 6 months they've had so far, I think, and you will be very happy with your purchase.
As the one of the heads of the production company that our podcast is now proudly a part of, what would you think of this 2 hour and 40-minute animated film being a Beyond the Blood episode with that commentary track?
It would be it would probably be a very good one. I don't. We'll talk after. I don't know that this is the best fit for the podcast.
Okay, I was just curious. I was like, I wonder how we would cover a nearly 3 hour long animated film in that context.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's not all horror. That's the thing. So it would be an interesting one for sure. But I guarantee you, it's a great commentary. The three guys that are a part of it are really great at what they do. Their commentaries are top notch. All right, that's Def Crocodile. Check out the website if you were wanting one of the subscriptions. Last Friday, Arrow also announced that they are doing something for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1990. Now, obviously, they did not give any details. All they said was, Cowabunga vibes only today. Lock in for Radical World Turtle Day. This is coming soon, with a poster or with a little GIF that was promoting Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, this is not exactly a guaranteed announcement. However, I've heard some things behind the scenes. I know some stuff that's coming. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1990 4K is coming. There's also some rumors that it's going to be the full trilogy, all in 4K, coming from Arrow soon. We don't have dates or anything, but this by far was my most engaging announcement of the week, topping all of the Vinegar Syndrome stuff. Oh my God, does this movie have some fans? How do you feel about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
I didn't grow up with these, but the day this was announced, my wife had me sit down and watch Secret of the Ooze, the second one, and I had a lot of fun with it. My first thing that came to mind was kind of like when they released the two Conan films.
Yep.
I was like, I wonder, is it going to be one big, like 6-inch thick box set? I'm like, or is it going to be 3 individuals? Like, that was the first thing that came to mind, honestly, was how they were going to package it.
I don't think there's any world that they put TMNT 3 as its own single release.
I mean, I don't know, man. We live in unique times. I mean, it'll be TMNT 2 plus bonus 4K.
Honestly, that makes sense to release the first one as a standalone 4K and 2 and 3 as a double feature 4K.
Yeah. That, dude, my wife is very excited for this. People went, dude, this was everywhere when this came out, man.
Not only was it everywhere, I gotta say, the first movie is kind of a incredible movie disguised as a kid's movie. And if you have not watched it in a long time, the first movie holds the fuck up. It is a really great crime story. It is really well shot, although it was done kind of cheaply, so some scenes are way darker than they should have been. They didn't have the greatest production, but honestly, the 4K will help it quite a bit. It's so dark that, you know, some great HDR. What's going on, right? Is going to make these scenes look so much better than they ever have. And honestly, many of us spent our lives watching this movie in muddy VHS, and so seeing it with those deep blacks in HDR is going to make this a completely different movie.
My thing is, will it come with the smell-o-vision that came with the Umbrella Blu-ray? You know,
I'm going to bet no, unfortunately, but I would like to see that too. This was a big one for a lot of people. Kino announced that they're putting out The Mechanic on 4K. This is another Bronson film. They seem to be upgrading most of these, so I assumed that this was coming at some point. It is coming fairly quickly after the Blu-ray, which will piss off at least 16 people, but no big deal. At least the film will be out there for everybody. Next up, we had a Memorial Day sale that is over. This was from MVD, so not going to spend any time on this. Hope you enjoyed purchasing. This was an interesting one. So, Kino announced that they were going to be putting out a limited edition Blu-ray release that they were announcing on Memorial Day, and it turned out to be Scoop from 2006. This is a Woody Allen film, and this is limited edition in the fact that it is only a very short licensing window. So, to me, that reminds me a lot of what they did with Lost Highway. I have a feeling that this is only going to be available for an extremely short period of time. So if you want this movie, it comes out on August 26th on Blu-ray. You might want to pick it up pretty much on pre-order. Otherwise, it may be gone. I have a feeling this will likely be released by, I don't remember the name of the company. I think it's like Quiver or something like that, that Woody Allen usually works with. They'll probably do something on their own later. No idea on restoration. They haven't announced any details on if there will be special features or anything. We'll talk about it more when we get some details. But I know a lot of people hate this movie. I know a couple people that like this one. I don't know anybody that loves this movie. So keep that in mind if you've never seen it. Yeah, Scoop.
I have a friend who shared this and said day one. So somebody out there is very excited for this.
Yes, they also at least like it.
Well, maybe he meant day one because it's a limited edition release and he just doesn't want to miss it. You know what I mean? Could be.
Daniel in the chat says, I'm sure all 5 Scoop fans are excited.
I just remember this and Annie Hall being announced by 88 Films, I think it was, on the same.
We're talking about that tonight.
Okay. Yeah. That one got a lot more attention.
This is still so funny to me. Sam Hell, the company that puts out films that are I know this is over, but I got to mention this is the company that puts out like torture snuff type films, and they're like, "Hey, celebrate Memorial Day by saving 50% off on our Blu-rays." The sale's over.
I actually watched on Memorial Day. I woke up, I saluted the flag out front, and then I watched August Underground. So I don't know, what world you're living in on Memorial Day, but I'm just kidding.
All right. Let's go to the next one, which is this year's Until Dawn, getting a 4K Blu-ray and DVD release from Sony on day one. This is coming on June 26th. We actually have some good extra features here if you're into this one. We got Dolby Atmos on this one. We've got an audio commentary with the director and the producer, some deleted extended scenes, featurette on adapting the video game that they did, some other small featurettes. Did you get to see Until Dawn this year?
I didn't. I got really excited for it because I read the Fangoria article on it and just didn't get to the theater. But I was very happy to see an audio commentary on here. Rare for stuff like this.
It's pretty rare nowadays. I do admit that it's more likely to happen on a horror release. The cult titles tend to get them more because we seem to purchase these. But yeah, I'm just glad to see they're investing in a commentary. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
All right. And then we got last week, Umbrella announced some titles, and they also had said, but we had one that we had to delay. This is that title that got delayed. So September 3rd, Umbrella over in Australia is releasing Kiwi Cult Volume 1. This is coming on Blu-ray. It is a Volume 1 of New Zealand box sets that they're going to be doing. A couple more of these coming at least. This is going to have Into the Dark. Into the Dark is the subtitle of the box set. We've got The Irrefutable Truth About Demons from 2000. We've got Perfect Creature from 2007. And then we have Under the Mountain from 2009. Extras on here, lots of stuff. We got brand new commentaries. We've got lots of interviews. We've got the standard, hey, we're Umbrella. We're going to put everything we can into a big booklet in a nice hard box, and everybody's going to love what we do with these. And it looks like a really solid release. And to get New Zealand films that don't get a lot of coverage, to get a full box set like this with more coming, that's pretty damn rad. I'm stoked on that.
Yeah, I mean, I love Umbrella. Massive fan of what they do. Accessibility is really tough with them. Luckily, like I have friends who, we do like a group buy with it, which makes it easier. Just like you always have to consider, first of all, how long it's going to take before you get it, once you order it, and then hope that there's something else in the group buy, unless then I have to spend $140 to get. Right. So I have noticed some, like, I think Brother Belial just posted like the French Extremity set. So I was able to order that thanks to them. But yeah, sometimes like I love this. I just hope there's an easier way for me to, grab it.
Yeah, that's I get that. Pretty much everybody at this point. I think Orbit, Diabolic, Brother Belial, I think Atomic gets some of them. Are all getting at least the standard editions. They're not the giant hard box sets, but they're getting at least like the slipcover release that they do of these, which is awesome. And you save a lot of money that way, not paying for the international shipping. Yeah, it may not be the giant box set, but at least you're able to get the films, which is the important part.
Yeah. Like I just got I didn't mention it in the pickups, but I got Storm Warning from them, the limited edition.
Speaking of how long it takes, I'm still waiting on them to ship mine. I'm so eager to have it. I bought that one direct.
Dude, people are still getting the Terrifier box set, like when they ordered it like the same day I did. So, like I said, just things like that kind of come into consideration with them.
Too true. I think I may have ordered mine with Wake and Fright, which is holding it up.
Yeah, probably.
Kino also announced that they're putting out The Vultures from 1984. This is a Jean-Paul Belmondo film. They've been announcing lots of French stuff recently, so this is a big deal. Vispian saying, any word on Umbrella's Angel's Egg release? As far as I'm aware, and I may be wrong, Vispian, I had not heard about an Umbrella Angel's Egg release. I just knew that it was coming out in the U.S. from, was it G Kids that got the rights, I think? Umbrella may be doing it in Australia as well. No additional word on that yet, though. Then, July 22nd, we're getting a 4K Steelbook from Universal of Serenity from 2005. As far as I can tell, there's nothing new on this. This is just the exact same 4K disc in a Steelbook. Universal's trying to make some money, and they're not even doing it with art that is super compelling. If you love Serenity, are you buying it for this Steelbook?
Fucking Steelbooks, dude.
Are you stoked about this Steelbook?
No.
Are Steelbook fans excited about this?
That's some art. Yeah, there's some art there.
I don't mean to look down on it, but yeah, this is not a great Steelbook design.
I mean, maybe it's just me. I can't do the Steelbook thing, man. I just like every time there's a new Steelbook announcement, I'm just like rolling my eye. You know what I mean?
Right.
Every time, dude.
I got to admit, I've got hundreds of them in this room. I like me some Steelbooks, but the art has to be something that is necessary. This is not.
Yeah, but at one point the Steelbook was like a great. I have some, like, at one point they were putting a ton of effort into them, and they were fun. Now it's like just overbearing, and the price is insane, man.
Yeah. I've heard that the disc is okay. Daniel was asking if it's a good disc. Rye is saying, now give me a 4K of Heaven and the Ugly. I can't promise anything, but I've heard at least one of those titles might be in the works soon. All Steelbooks looking like PS3 cover art, says Kev. This one specifically. Yeah, that's Serenity. Moving right along, BBC putting out Walking with Dinosaurs from 2025, it's definitely not a nature documentary because they didn't go out and film dinosaurs, but this looks like a pretty fun release. Check it out if you're into the animal type thing.
Really, really into the episode titled Band of Brothers.
Yeah. This is also pretty cool. August 12th, we're getting a Blu-ray and DVD release in the US from the BBC of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, Season 1. I've never seen the show. I don't even know that I had ever heard of it, but I'm just saying this is cool because it's another Netflix title being rescued and put out on physical media. This is a damn big deal.
Damn, I didn't know there was a Netflix title.
Sure is. Then we're about to cover a bunch of 88 film stuff. Mozart is saying Sony and Lionsgate still do good steals. I agree. Those are the two that I would name as well. Let's go into some of these first up and spend some time with a couple of them specifically. So July 21st in the UK, July 22nd in North America, they're putting out a Blu-ray release of Detonation Violent Riders from 1975. This is coming as part of their Japan Archie line, so it's going to have their I Want to Be Radiance When I Grow Up Obi strip, and it is going to look exactly like their releases. It is going to have a booklet with writing by Michelle Kisner, which definitely sold me immediately. We've got audio commentary by Ashley Darrow and Jonathan Greenaway of the Horror Vanguard podcast. Brand new visual essay by Nathan Stewart, and then a couple of like trailers, stills gallery, that type of thing. And some really great art by Alon Sheedy, who's a friend of the channel. Great art. This looks amazing. I cannot wait to get this one.
Dude, I know nothing about this, but I was sold minute one. Artwork alone, I was sold.
Yeah, it's pretty up there for sure.
Another label that I've had a lot of fun blind buying from is 88 Films.
I get that, yeah.
Especially with like, I remember when I picked up the Guts trilogy, just simply based on artwork, and then I ended up loving those movies. That's really kind of like what drove me forward with 88 Films. And between the Japan Archie, the French line, like there's so much good stuff coming out from them.
We're talking about all of them tonight, it feels like. Next one is August 26th. There's going to be a deluxe Blu-ray edition of The Cat from 1991. This is releasing in the US only. US only. This is not getting a UK release. This one is a big deal. This is a title that people have wanted for fucking years. This has been bootlegged to death. The big thing is this played on Criterion just a few months ago in a big cat-centric month that they did, and people finally saw this, discovered it, and fell in love with it. And 88 Films came in and are releasing this in what looks like a pretty incredible release. We got a 40-page book in this. We've got a brand new 2K restoration from the original negative. There's going to be an audio commentary by Frank Jang. There's a new interview with the writer Gordon Chan. There's an image gallery. You can pre-order this now. This is a big deal. Sibner is saying crazy, a US only 88 release. This is not the first one. They've done some before. The very first US 88 release was a US only release, and that was Gestapo's Last Orgy. They couldn't get that approved in the UK, and I believe they can't get the Cat approved in the UK because this is one that I don't remember if there's animal cruelty, but I believe that's probably the reason why they couldn't get that one approved. I don't remember there being much of anything, but considering the figure of the film, that's got to be why.
This is going to look really nice on my shelf next to their limited edition of The Seventh Curse. It's still one of the wildest movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, incredible movie, incredible. From the same director as this one, yeah.
Yep.
So that's The Cat. This is one that pretty much everybody should own. Check out The Cat if you've not seen it. Next, July 28th in the UK, they are releasing Her Vengeance. This was also recently released by Vinegar Syndrome in a vastly superior release. This 88 Films release is going to have a 40-page book and an audio commentary, and that's pretty much it. That's the only reason I think this is sort of a huge miss for them. This is a very good film that I really wish people could see a great release in the UK. But if you are over there and you were wanting this, spend a little extra and get the VS release. It's definitely a better release, and it's a double feature.
That's good. I mean, I like the art.
Yeah, it's pretty great art. 88 Films has a really, really good track record with decent art.
I instantly thought of the art for Vinegar Syndrome's Chinese torture chamber story. I think, is that what those were called? Who put that out?
Chinese torture story. Why am I blanking on that? Was it Shout Factory?
No, I thought it was Vinegar Syndrome.
It was. You're right. Chinese. That's why it's Chinese torture chamber story.
Torture chamber story. Okay, that's what I thought I said.
You may have said it, and I was just.
Yeah. No. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, VS. Yeah. No, so I did see this, and somebody in my group chat said, because I had sent this, and I was like, "Oh, I'm probably going to grab this," and they had told me grab the Vinegar Syndrome one. I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, definitely a better release of this one. And then, like you alluded to earlier, on July 14th, they're releasing a Blu-ray and, if you really want it, a DVD release of Woody Allen's Annie Hall. And for special features, they have a trailer.
Nice. I'm grabbing that DVD.
This is the same old master that this has been released on Blu-ray before. There's literally nothing new here. Unless you're over in the UK and you're dying to own this film and you've never seen it on Blu-ray and you didn't import it, this might be the way to buy it. But other than that, yeah, there's not really much of a reason to buy this specific release of this film.
Interesting to put out something like that. So, I don't know. Maybe.
Well, Woody Allen's films historically do not come with extras. He doesn't allow it to happen. So.
I'm still learning, still getting into the Woody Allen stuff. So I wasn't sure if that was a trendy or like not a trendy, if that was a part of it, you know, not having any bonus features.
Yeah, it's a very, very interesting choice. And then not to mention the studio that controls this one is MGM, which historically the worst studio to work with for anything related to bonus features and releases.
Great.
Then we get into the fun stuff. July 7th on Blu-ray over in the UK, they are doing, as part of their Nikatsu Roman porno line, Sex Rider Wet Highway from 1971. And I just got to say, they don't really title movies like this anymore. Sex Rider Wet Highway. Such a specific, wonderful title. Can't wait to see this one. This has a booklet by Caitlin Casiello. This has a audio commentary by Earl Jackson, Jasper Sharp, newly filmed introduction by Ten Terawaki, Stills Gallery trailer, new artwork, fun looking release.
Yeah, somebody described this as the Japanese Crash. So sold.
Immediately sold.
Yeah, immediately.
I love that we started with all the double entendres and then we get Sex Rider Wet Highway.
It's meant to be, man.
It's meant to be. Jesus, Dustin, come for the Sex Rider, stay for the Wet Highway. Oh, we're staying all right. Yeah, nice to see Jasper Sharp on this. Like Rice says, Jasper does a lot of these titles because he is the pink cinema guy. He's great.
Also, will say I love that the booklet, the essay is called "Sex at Speed."
Yes. Next, from the same line, the Nikatsu Roman porno line, we are getting Tokyo Emmanuel from 1975. This one is going to have a booklet with writing by Jasper Sharp and Dakota Newt. Dakota getting more and more work, it seems like. That's nice. Audio commentary by David Flint and Jasper Sharp. New introduction to Roman porno by Ki Chiba. Newly filmed introduction to Tokyo Emmanuel by Mio Hitokai. This looks like a pretty solid release again. I'm stoked that this is happening and glad we're getting exposure to a lot of these titles.
Yeah, is this supposed to be and mind my ignorance of this, is this because last year I really got into Black Manuel because of, you know, the Severin box set, and then of course I knew about the standard Emmanuel line. Is this sort of just like another country's version of?
In a way, yeah, they were definitely inspired by it. The Nikatsu Roman porno stuff definitely had a lot of inspirations that they took from other country cinema, and that was no exception for sure.
Okay, yeah, because I'll pick this up I'll pretty much just based on that. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Definitely getting that.
As part of their French collection on July 7th over in the UK, they are putting out The French Love from 1972. I've heard that this one's good. No bonus features on this one, but one that I am certainly going to look into. I'm very curious to see how their French collection does, because they don't seem to put a lot of work into it, which I get if they don't sell well. It's hard to put a lot of money into extras and booklets and all that, but also if you want them to sell well, you got to invest at least a little bit sometimes. So curious about this one. I've not seen this. Anybody else seen this one?
I'm currently reading the description here, which is a beautiful bisexual air hostesses and whisked back for a spot of Le Gnocchi. So, I don't know what that means, but
I love that Ronnie says, "Is that Liam Gallagher?"
This is the Oasis re-team up that we've been waiting for.
Yeah, honestly, good time to point out too. Rye was bringing up that Jasper Sharp's Under the Pink Curtain book was up for pre-order. I posted that on Facebook at least last week. I'm not sure if we talked about it on here, but it is getting a re-release from Fab Press. You can pre-order it now. They were running a short sale, and you could pre-order it with some other stuff. But it looks to be like they added quite a bit too. I'm very much looking forward to that release of Jasper's book again. I forgot this was this week. Okay, July 7th in the UK, as part of their French collection, they are also putting out the most bluntly titled film I've seen in a few weeks at least, Naked Sex from 1973. I have to admit, I took great joy in censoring this in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different places. I will admit, one or two of these were questionable. I may not have needed to censor these. However, I've had my Facebook account for The Disconnected taken down 3 times, 2 or 3 times now, and do not want to lose that. So I said, you know what? I'm taking 0 chances, and I'm just doing everything. What's funny, though, I don't think I've ever conceived that I might have to censor something on the spine of a Blu-ray release. And to do that here, man, wild.
Dude, this is I love that it says The Innocents at 88 Films. I'm proud to present. This is up there with like some of the Severin title. Like I remember when I went with my wife to a record store that had a whole bunch of, somebody traded in their whole collection. It was a bunch of Severin and like Vinegar Syndrome stuff.
Nice.
And I remember picking up the, oh my god, what was it called? The Inconfessable Orgies of Emmanuel.
Yep.
And she's like, I think I know what that's about. Or like there's a Shining Sex, like another one that you're like, I think I know what this is about. I'm buying this. I mean, for sure. I mean, there's no. It does say that it has an eager young whippersnapper. So
I don't think I've ever seen the word whippersnapper in copy before.
It also says copious copulation en route. So.
And it does say it's not just wall-to-wall shagging. Naked Sex is also about memory, fantasy, and modern relationships, as close to an art film as a softcore porno gets. In fact,
I mean,
I also got to point out, I love Terry's comment here. He says it looks like the most erotic version of Pong ever.
I thought of the cover reminds me of Tommy, the Who. So you gotta get those vibes from it.
Yeah, a little bit. I get that. Next from the French collection is Sexually Yours from 1974. This was directed by Max Picas. This is one that I believe was released by Mondo Macabro here in the US. This is from their French line. There is the film on here and nothing else. That's it. Just the film from them.
Sweet.
Some of these comments are so great.
Clothed sex.
Next up, The Last of Us Season 2 is getting a 4K Steelbook and standard release, plus a Blu-ray and probably a DVD if you're still into that. Over in the UK on September 22nd. You can pre-order this now from Zavvi and a couple other places, I believe. But now this has since gone up in the US as well. You can expect this to get a Steelbook release here. 4K release coming about this was kind of inevitable. Max has been doing that for a lot of their stuff, or sorry, HBO Max or whatever we're calling it this week. I don't remember what the dead name is at this point, so I'm sorry. This is a title that's done very well, so I'm not shocked that it's getting a great release. So check out The Last of Us if you have not.
Hell yeah.
Another cat film to round out our week. August 12th, we get a cat film from Whole Grain Pictures called 25 Cats from Qatar. This is from 2024, and it says that it is one of the wealthiest countries in the world, but beneath its glittering exterior lies a world populated by millions of migrant workers and millions of street cats, often starving and in poor health. So they're talking about the cats and helping them, and there's some premiere event Q&A. There's the original trailer, and yeah, this looks like an interesting release. I had heard that this was good. I'm kind of surprised this is getting a Blu-ray release.
I mean, I would just hate for this to come in the same package as my pre-order for Naked Sex. I mean, I just can't imagine that unboxing experience. But also, if I buy this, since I'm a completionist, I'm also going to have to buy Cat Daddies.
Yeah, probably. Absolutely. And then, of course, the cat. Those all have to come in one. Never mind. I probably should not say the phrase. Those have to come in one package. Never mind. Moving right along. Hey, one of the biggest announcements of the week. September 30th, we are getting the terribly kept secret from Criterion, the 4K box set of the Wes Anderson Archive, 10 films, 25 years. So this is going to include Bottle Rocket, Rushmore, The Royal Tenenbaums, The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, The Darjeeling Limited, Fantastic Mr. Fox, Moonrise Kingdom, The Grand Budapest Hotel, Isle of Dogs, and The French Dispatch. This thing has a $500 MSRP. You can buy it from their website now for $400 on sale, or you can wait until the half-off sale and get it for 250 bones. These are all, of course, approved by the man himself, Wes Anderson. 10 4K discs of the film, all with Dolby Vision HDR. They also include 10 Blu-rays that have all of their special features. Over 25 hours of special features to that. They've also got, English subtitles, plus they've got booklets with essays. Lots of stuff happening in this thing for fans that are huge Wes Anderson fans. This is sort of the dream come true. It would have been nice if it had all of the films up to this point, but I don't know if it's just the even round numbers of 10 years, 25 films that they wanted to do it, but this is a choice. When Indian Paintbrush bought Criterion, it was kind of inevitable for them to do something like this because Indian Paintbrush and Wes have worked together quite a bit, so not really surprised. What are your thoughts on Wes Anderson?
I mean, I don't have $500. I don't even have $250 laying around to get this during the half off sale.
Everything went to Severin. Yeah, I get it.
Everything went to Severin. I think this is a really cool presentation. I think there's, I think over 25 hours of special features is enough. You know what I mean? I think I think there's some, I think they could have done a little bit more. And 10 illustrated books. I think you could do 11, but that's just me. I think this is cool, especially because my wife sent me this and she has never seen a Wes Anderson movie, but she's really into the trailers for The Physician Scheme. Is that what it's called?
The Phoenician Scheme.
Phoenician Scheme. So I kind of considered this as a way to kind of get her caught up, but then I saw the price tag.
Yeah, and again, here's the thing. $500 for this is too much. Obviously, a $500 MSRP for 10 films on 4K is crazy pants money. That being said, most people don't spend full price on Criterion releases ever. But also, even at a halfway sale, these are still $25 per 4K disc, which that's just regular sale price for 4K discs. And you would think if they were doing a box set of 10 of them, you would think that they would at least discount it slightly compared to what the standalone prices would be on these. So to be able to do that, I guess to me, I expected a $400 MSRP, and on sale probably, right now it'd probably be $325, $350, something like that. And then during the half off sale, it'll be $200. That's a lot better.
Yeah, I'm still I still haven't grabbed it yet, but one of my Grail pieces is their Bergman box set. So I feel like I have to do myself a service and get that first before I even consider this.
Yeah, I could see that.
And then also too, how much was the CC40 box set? Was that $500?
$800, I think.
$800.
Or $600, one of the two. I'm not sure.
Sheesh.
Yeah, let me go take a look at that while we discuss this. Sibner is asking in the chat if this was only 4K discs, and no, this does have the Blu-ray discs as well. So actually, it is a 20 disc set, which is nice. The MSRP on CC40 is $800, so at the halfway sale or half off sale, it's $400.
$400. Okay. I mean, a lot of this stuff, it comes down to if I walk into a Barnes and Noble and I have the extra money and this is sitting, back, which is funny because my Barnes and Noble always puts stuff in their media section behind the counter that nobody's ever at.
And then they spider wrap it. Oh.
Yeah, but you could just walk behind the counter and grab whatever you need. But I have a feeling this is one of those things that when I see it in person at my Barnes and Noble, it might be tempting
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Unfortunately, but we'll see come next month.
Gary, thanks for the donation. He's saying, just joining, catching up. The Ghost of Peter Sellers is about the unreleased Ghost in the Noonday Sun, not the ruling class. Thanks, Gary. Sorry for everybody listening. I definitely said the wrong thing there. I was trying to read quickly and said the wrong title. Let's see. It's the same as buying them if they were 4K standalones, and I think that's the issue. If you're going to do that, you got to motivate it other than like what Craig says here in the chat. Where was it? Yeah, but you also get the inconvenient big box that won't fit on your shelf. That's worth the extra money. That's not a motivation for me. If I can get them all on standalone 4K eventually, that to me is more appealing than the box set like that.
Well, like you said, typically with the box set, you're discounting each title a couple dollars. Typically, you know what I mean, because you're not getting the individual packaging and stuff. So if this was, like you said, $200 on the half off sale, that extra $50, I think, is, you know, like it makes it better for me. 50 more dollars off. So,
yeah. So there's some other big stuff that we should talk about here. Is at least one of these titles, I believe, is a Disney title. So the fact that they were able to re-up and get that on 4K is great. That they're willing to do that. The box set here does have some titles that were not released by Criterion before, and so one thing that is a good indication that they're all going to be released on standalone 4K is that they're putting out Isle of Dogs on 4K by itself on the same day, and The French Dispatch on 4K in the same day. We'll talk about the features of those in just a second, but Wes Anderson himself, have you seen many Wes Anderson films? How do you feel about him as a filmmaker?
He's more interesting to me than I don't tend to rewatch his movies. I always watch one and I'm really into it, and then it takes a while for me to kind of get back into. I think the Grand Budapest Hotel has been my favorite. Second for me would probably be Fantastic Mr. Fox. Outside of that, I'm pretty ignorant to most of his stuff.
Jesus, Kev says, random but currently legally downloading all 116 MGM Midnight movies. What in the world? Nice. So my thoughts real quick. I really like the look of this box set. What's funny is I think if you didn't put the title on the front and you showed anybody that knows the Criterion Collection this box set with none of the branding, they could go, oh, that's a Wes Anderson box set, I bet. It is just so him. As far as my thoughts on the films themselves, I don't normally talk about Wes Anderson all that much because I got to be honest, a lot of people I know love the current era of Wes Anderson, and that's just not for me. I truly loved Wes Anderson up to about Fantastic Mr. Fox. In the right mood, I might be into watching Moonrise Kingdom and maybe the Grand Budapest Hotel, but really everything past Fantastic Mr. Fox just seems like it's just not for me for the most part. I adore Bottle Rocket. I think The Royal Tenenbaums is a masterpiece. Life Aquatic is starting to get quirky, but it's still unique enough to where I like it a lot. Darjeeling Limited is just silly, and I loved it. And then Fantastic Mr. Fox is, again, another masterpiece. I adore that movie. But, yeah, the newer ones just not something that I don't know. I'm not pining to rewatch those ever.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're gonna, I think for people like us who are very like, if I get into a filmography or I really start diving in, I appreciate box sets like this where I can just kind of go to one thing and kind of get the basics. Because even if I don't know much, I'm still going to watch the bonus features. I'm still going to read the essay. This is a good set to fall in love with him. You know what I mean? In his films, I do think that if I did get my hands on this, I would for sure become a major fan by the end of it. It's just that initial investment for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's go and take a look at the bonus features for Isle of Dogs. This is a new 4K digital master, all done by Wes Anderson or approved by Wes Anderson. This is going to have an audio commentary with Wes Anderson and Jeff Goldblum. There's a feature-length storyboard animatic on here. There's a making of Isle of Dogs featuring animators, puppet makers, modelers, sculptors, a whole bunch of other people. The visual comedy of Isle of Dogs, a visual essay by filmmaker Taylor Ramos and Tony Zhao. Jupiter in the Studio featuring actor F. Murray Abraham touring the set animation tests, visual effects breakdowns, behind the scenes and time-lapse footage, plus an essay by critic Moeko Fuji and a poster by cover artist Katsuhiro Otomo, which I love the cover of this one for sure.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. I've never seen this, but I do like that cover.
And then the second one that is going to be standalone is The French Dispatch, or the full title, The French Dispatch of the Liberty, Kansas Evening Sun. This one is a salute to writers and expatriates. This one is going to have a commentary with Wes Anderson and Roman Coppola and Jason Schwartzman. Selected scene storyboard animatic behind the scenes of The French Dispatch. No crying, how to overcome blasé ennui, a visual essay featuring the writing of David Bordwell, episode of the New Yorker Radio Hour with Wes Anderson, French Splatter School Action Group, an interview with the artist Sandro Kopp. There's A-Line by Jarvis Cocker, a music video. French Dispatch reads the New Yorker featuring Wright and Bill Murray, Stephen Park, Elizabeth Moss, and more. There's a lot of stuff coming on these, is what I'm getting at. Tons of extra features. And so the big thing here is to see them announcing 4K of the 2 discs that they didn't put out standalone. I'm willing to bet that eventually we're going to see a rollout of the other 8 films being on standalone 4K as well. So not super surprised by that.
Yeah, that's cool. They put this out on Blu-ray, right?
No. Criterion had not released this on Blu-ray.
Okay.
This is the first Criterion release of this. This was released previously by the studio.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Moving right along, this happened just hours ago today. Blue Underground announced that the film Raw Meat, also known as Deathline, is coming out on 4K sometime around Halloween this year from them. This is the Gary Sherman film from 1972. And I'll say it again and again, Blue Underground does really great work on their 4Ks. They take a while to come out, and they're not necessarily signing new titles. They also put out Deathline on Blu-ray before, so it's not really surprising that they're doing a 4K. But those 4K releases look incredible when they do finally come out. So this will be something that people will love to see on 4K, I'm sure.
They are the masters of the shall I say misleading cover art, in my opinion. Love their work, but I don't know if that's an accurate visual of the film there, but you know.
I believe this is the original poster, and this one was a secondary poster. So I think the Deathline one is actually pretty accurate.
Color me right.
All that to say, yeah, they do great 4K work. Can't wait to see it. Although I will say, I saw an upcoming Severin 4K that's not been announced yet, and their 4K restorations are getting better and better. That movie... We'll talk about it when it gets announced, but that movie looks incredible.
Yeah, all right. Keep your secrets.
Next up, November 18th, we are getting Season 8 of Rick and Morty, which I got to be honest, didn't know was still a thing. I thought this was canceled back a couple years ago, but here it is, still coming out, and I looked it up when I announced this. Pretty decent reviews. Supposedly a return to form.
I see a lot of excitement in your comment section for this one.
Of course, on every single announcement, there's somebody that says, no thanks or not for me. Cool. I appreciate the engagement. This one, I've been wanting to see. July 8th, Dark Sky and MPI Home Video are releasing Let's Start a Cult from last year. This is the film that is making Stavros Halkias a household name, I guess, if you stumble upon this on Hulu. Stavros is hilarious, and I really want to see this. From what I hear, it starts off great, but unfortunately loses some steam, which I'm not super surprised by. Seeing him try to lead a film is a little surprising at this stage of his career, but considering what he does for his comedy, I hope that it does well for sure.
Does this come with a big plastic chainsaw, or never mind, hold on. It's something else. I'm sorry. Move on.
Oh, Dark Sky. No, this is not a Dark Sky Selects. So
sorry.
No chainsaw here, unfortunately. Via Vision in Australia, this is the parent company of Imprint. On July 30th, they're releasing Hang 'em High from 1968. This is a Blu-ray set. No new restoration or anything like that, but for those that love this film or Clint Eastwood, this looks to be the most updated release. Not to mention, it got a brand new audio commentary with Toby Rohn. This will also have a limited edition 3D lenticular hard case to house the film. This was previously released in the US by Shout as part of their Shout Select line. So if you don't have this yet, this might be a great way to check it out if you love Eastwood.
I always think I don't need these imprint lenticular releases, but then I see them and then I instantly want them. You know?
Yeah, that makes sense. I think there was one title that almost got me, and I decided at the last second to take it out of the cart. I don't remember what it was. It might have been one of the Rob Zombie ones that they did.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Then to match that, they are also doing the Golden Voyage of Sinbad from 1973. This also comes with a 3D lenticular hard case and art cards. This one will be limited to 2,000. No new extras on this one, no new restoration or anything. But for those that love Ray Harryhausen, I don't think his stuff is in print from pretty much anyone else right now. I think Indicator might have some of his stuff in print in standard editions, but that might be it. So if you really love Sinbad or Harryhausen, this might be the way to get this. All right, July 25th, we are also getting a Blu-ray and CD set or a vinyl from Mercury Records of Walking After Midnight, a live tribute, Walking After Midnight, a live tribute to Patsy Cline. This was filmed at the historic Ryman Auditorium in Nashville, and it's a bunch of artists doing music of Patsy Cline. So you do get the Blu-ray of the live concert footage. You also get the CD of it. And honestly, it's for sale for very cheap. So if you like the artists on here, this looks like a pretty fun release. I don't love a lot of people on here, but Patsy Cline is fucking brilliant, and especially love Crazy. Or it's not Crazy, sorry. Yes, Crazy, and then there's at least one more on here that I was stoked on checking out, because Pam Tillis is supposed to be great on So Wrong. Yeah, this looks great. I'm stoked that more and more places are doing this.
That's cool.
Then, the final announcement of the day. Terra Vision earlier hosted a live stream by me, and we announced that finally, in August, we are getting a 4K release of Gatorbait and Gatorbait 2 Cajun Justice. This is coming as a double feature deluxe edition. This hardbox release is limited to 3,500 copies. You get both films on 4K, both films on Blu-ray, and all kinds of extras. You get a perfect bound book with writing from Alexandra Heller Nicholas, Michelle Kisner, and Heather Drain. Commentary with Beverly Sebastian on both films. Commentary with some idiot named Ryan Verrill, and then Will Dodson from Someone's Favorite Productions on both films. We've got a new interview with Joe Bob Briggs on both movies, also produced by Someone's Favorite Productions. We've got an interview with Tracy Sebastian on both films. We got an interview with Ben Sebastian on both films. New interview with Brad Kepenick on Gatorbait 2. The thing that I'm most excited to see on a disc is interview with Claudia Jennings' brother, Keith Jennings, not Ken Jennings. I almost said that. He is not the Jeopardy winner. And then there's some archival extras that are coming with this as well. We're going to talk about this in depth in just a second, but if you are super excited about this release, they're also doing this collector's edition, which on top of all of the extras and stuff that we just mentioned, they're also going to include a screen printed 18 by 24 poster, a koozie, a hat, bumper sticker, a t-shirt, and lobby cards. This one is limited to only 300, and one of the people that pre-order this that sell out are going to get a signed Chloe Mannon original art that she did for Gatorbait. That is truly great. We talked about this on the live stream. Go check it out if you haven't. It's still up on the YouTube channel over there. But the big thing here, these films are incredible. I know that a lot of people are stoked on these. I mentioned pricing earlier, wanted to talk about this. This giant collector's edition set from Severin that has 2 4K discs, 2 Blu-ray discs, all of this extra stuff, $100. That is so much better than most other boutiques charge for something like this. And if you just want the deluxe edition that has the 2 4Ks, 2 Blu-rays, and the book and all that stuff, this is only $55. And this is something that was a lot of work to be able to hobble this together. Gary asking, so the sequel was made 15 years later. Yes, this is a direct sequel that was not planned at the original release of the first one. It just did so well, they decided years later to make a sequel, and it is a very different movie, but also another very good movie. There's so much that I could say about these. Just for the interviews from Joe Bob Briggs alone, I suggest picking this up. Sure, I'm biased. Will and I did the commentary on both of these, and I'm very, very honored to be a part of these. These are like exploitation classics, And it is mind blowing to me to be able to be associated with these, to help produce the special features, to hire people to work on these. This has been a dream come true. Have you seen either of the Gatorbait movies?
No, I'm definitely picking this up. One of my co-hosts on the show, Steve, he's very excited about these. So I am as well. He's seen them. And I was actually going to ask you, like, give me the cliff notes, but I was kind of reading the description on the side, and I'm already sold. But dude, $55 is so good for that.
Yeah. It is a really incredible price in 2025. I got to admit, I was shocked that we were going to sell it for that cheap. And then the big thing, not to like, I know I talked about the Deaf Crocodile subscriptions earlier, not to sell on the Terra Vision subscriptions, but if you sign up to be a subscriber tonight with Terra Vision, you can get this release for literally as cheap as $20, which is crazy. If you subscribe for their next 50 titles, you'll get 50 titles at $20 each, and you get the deluxe edition here. You don't get the bundle with the t-shirt, but you get the 4-disc 4Ks and Blu-rays and all that stuff for $20, basically. Even if you sign up for the 10 title subscription, which is $225, that's $22.50 per title. And to get a $55 release for $22.50 is wildly inexpensive.
Yeah, this is awesome, man.
Yeah, for those that have never seen Gatorbait or Gatorbait 2, I know Gatorbait 2 specifically was kind of hard to see for quite some time. They have been languishing for years on independently released DVDs. They weren't quite bootlegs, but they just weren't great copies of them that the Sebastians did themselves. The work that had to be done to get these put out is kind of incredible. We came across the OCN and the interpositive for Gatorbait 2, and the final reel was missing for both of them, the OCN and the interpositive. And so the Wonderment Project, who is in the chat tonight, was gracious enough to scan his Laserdisc copy for us, and we are using that to fill in for the missing last reel on Gatorbait 2 to make this a 4K. It is really, really crazy. It is something that's very important to preserve, so I'm glad that we were willing to do that, and Brian could help out. Brian, you're just an immense help on this. Yeah, if you want to know more about these films, message me and we'll talk about it. It's pretty important, and I'm happy to discuss. They are great movies. I think that's all we got tonight. Thankfully, that is it. Yes. Let's talk about what's coming next week, in case you forgot. Criterion, Brazil 4K, Mishima, Life in 4 Chapters 4K, Shout, Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia 4K, Monkey Shines 4K, RLJE, When Evil Lurks 4K. We've got the Lionsgate limited release of Freaky Tales 4K. That one is finally shipping. The Cruise from Oscilloscope. We've got Leaving Las Vegas from Sandpiper Pictures. We've got The Charge of the Light Brigade, Life Stinks, Malice, Great Balls of Fire, Midsummer Night's Dream, all from the same thing, Sandpiper Pictures, Rush, Roller Boogie as well, and then a whole bunch of anime stuff into a month of some really incredible releases. The very first week of June is not the big week, so be prepared, because you got a summer of huge titles coming that I am excited about. I see some questions in the chat. Sandro specifically, did I miss the Sleepaway Camp 4K from Scream Factory rumor post? I don't share rumors. I only go off of official announcements. When it's on their site on Monday, I will be posting those. Arrow titles have all leaked. Shout Factory titles have all leaked. We will be talking about those next week. I try to give them their due with the company so that they get their clicks. I don't need to take it from them. Everybody that supports Down on the Disc, I'm not going to take it away from you, but I personally don't get joy out of that. I really wish people didn't share those early. It hurts the companies that do that. So just a heads up on that. Anything you're picking up from those, what's coming out next week that you're excited about?
No, I have the umbrella release of Monkey Shines. I'm happy it's getting a US, current release.
Yep.
I don't really feel the need to upgrade that to 4K. And I did think about leaving Las Vegas, but I'm not 100% sold yet.
Yeah, I feel like that one eventually could get like an actually good boutique release and not just Sandpiper.
Yeah, and then the When Evil Lurks, a lot of people are excited just because of the slipcover and the look. That's one I don't feel the need. Like, I have the Shutter Blu-ray, which I think looks great. I just don't feel the need to upgrade that. You know what I mean? And to pay another $20 for that movie.
Yeah, thankfully I did not get the RLJE or Shutter Blu-ray of When Evil Lurks, especially because the title wasn't on the spine.
Yeah, it's
So I'm stoked that I was able to get that 4K. So I will be watching that soon. I love it.
Is there anything? Do you know offhand? Is there anything new on it feature-wise?
I don't know. I don't think they announced any features, so I'm waiting for it to come in for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Ronnie wants to mention the Bottoms came out this week from Kino Lorber. Watching it looks great. A lot of extras too. Mine is en route still, and I cannot wait, Ronnie. I'm so stoked that this finally got a disc release. I feel like we waited ages.
That's like they start the Fight Club, right?
Yeah, Rachel Sennett.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
All right. So tonight we are talking about a few releases from this year that are just incredible, like really well-loaded releases that people should check out. I am half cheating on two of mine, so just a warning on that front. But we're going to dive into it. First, your love of special features. How long have you been into audio commentaries and all
that? Pretty much. When I started collecting DVDs, the first DVD I ever bought myself was Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead remake, and it was the one with the unrated cut on it. And I remember that was kind of like. It was that we actually talked before on the show about the little documentary that was on the Final Destination 2 release that talked about Herschel Gordon Lewis.
Yeah.
So that's when it started. But commentaries for me kind of started around the same time because I was like, wait, I can watch the movie and somebody involved in the movie can tell me, how they did it.
Right.
And that's really when it started. I have a tendency to kind of go back at a later time. Like, I'll watch a movie, dive into all the bonus features, and then months later when I'm like, oh yeah, that's kind of when I'll revisit the commentary. Sometimes it's tough. There are some commentaries that are fantastic, and then others are sort of just, not. It really just depends on the movie for me. One of the titles that I picked for the discussion, I really love when a commentary paints the picture of, or like a portrait of that time in that genre of filmmaking, and can teach me about the genre as a whole instead of just the movie. Especially with us who collect a lot of movies that don't have a ton of info behind them. If you can paint me a picture or a view that I haven't seen the movie in before, that's what I enjoy the most, more than, oh, hey, this shot was done on Studio A and we, you know what I mean?
Right.
Do you just want me to talk about that first one that I picked?
Go right ahead. Sure.
So we already talked about it once. It's the newest indicator of Girls Without Shame. And I'll tell you why, because more interesting to me than just learning about Jean Rollins is learning about kind of where French sex films were at this time, because I'm not exposed to that genre as much.
Right.
And there's a couple of wonderful interviews on this disc that I really, really like. But for me, it's the booklet, which I can't show because we'll be not
on Roland, yeah.
Yeah. But there is, let me get the exact title of it for people real quick. It is called, it's written by Jean-Pierre Bourgeois from 1975, and it's called Porno Cinema Seen by Those Who Make It. And it was a really interesting kind of look on that subgenre at that time. It was one of those things where I read it, I put it down, and then I went back to it because there was like information overload for me. I guess the reason I keep picking this up is because I watched this, put it away, pulled it back off the shelf, watched the bonus features, I put it back on the shelf, and then I pulled it out to read the booklet, put the booklet down, and then revisited the booklet again, and I just haven't been able to stop thinking about it. Because to me, more important than learning the movie is just learning about film in general at this time period. I mean, this came out in 1973. obviously French, very revolutionary time for French cinema, as we saw in some of the 88 films announcements that came out. And to me, this is actually driving me more to that genre. I want to see more early 70s French films and kind of see what that movement was doing.
Right.
So as a release that I would recommend people, to me, this was a big eye opener of a release for me. That's what's important, is that this all in all is driving me to expand my knowledge of film in general. You know what I mean? And this Jean Rollins line from Indicator is all over the place. I mean, to go from, or Rollins, sorry.
For the record, Jean Rollin.
Yeah. To go from fascination to Requiem for a Vampire to even like Rape of the Vampire, Nude Vampire, to now this has been like the most mind-blowing experience for me. You know what I mean? As somebody learning about somebody's filmography. So that's my first one and my fascination with this little movie.
And not to mention, the big thing to mention is Indicator has a history of this. All of their releases, I show it every single time. If it's a pickup or if we're discussing it, they have a text box on the back of every release that is encyclopedic in length of what they're doing for extras. I mean, the back of this one, guaranteed, looks exactly like all the other ones because they spare nothing. I mean, look at that.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And for the price too, like a lot of these, I don't even get the 4K. I just end up getting the Blu-ray, and they come out to be like sometimes like $23.
Right.
I think just a couple of weeks ago, I think it wasn't a Jean Rollin film, but it was one other. Black Magic Rights was like $12.99.
Yeah.
On Amazon, and they're numbered. They're limited edition. They're numbered. But just great titles to pick up and just dive into,
Great quality too. Like all the restorations are always great. They just simply do great work.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
So again, my first title is one that we talked about earlier, but I kind of want to go a little bit into detail for Inflatable Sex Doll of the Wastelands. This is a Deaf Crocodile release that just came out recently, like within the last 60 days. And this is a film from 1967 that is very weird. For a lot of people, this is sort of a, especially for people new to Deaf Crocodile or new to this type of cinema or new to art house films, this, I could easily see it being a little, we'll say, not approachable. And yet, one of the best things about this release is the amount of knowledge that you get through all of the extras. So one of the big things here, the audio commentary itself, and tooting my own horn a little bit, I'm the one that got the audio commentary here because we got Arne Venema and Mike Leader, who's a friend of mine. I've hired him for commentaries for like 4 or 5 different companies. And they, for anybody that's never listened to a Mike Leader and Arne Venema commentary, they usually talk quickly and sometimes talk over each other. It's literally just the passion about the film, like bubbling out of them, that they are fighting to like, no, we got to jump in here and take care of this because there's so much I want to talk about. And it is so much in this commentary because they speak so quickly. It is difficult to keep up with. You can literally keep a notebook out while you're listening to the commentary and take notes of, I'm not kidding, more than 50 films that you're going to want to watch after this because of what they are talking about. And the things that they talk about are important because you have an incredible director that is attached to bigger films that you've probably seen because the biggest one is he also wrote a film that's in the Criterion collection. You've got the whole genre of pink films, which this one's kind of weird because it's a very early one that's not quite like a normal pink film. It's very art house and not super sexy, even at the end, which is where like some of the nudity comes in. There's not a lot of it. It's just an overall weird movie about somebody that promises that they're going to kill somebody every day at 3:00, and it's great. And this thing, the commentary itself is like the best lecture that you could get from any film school. Arna and Mike deliver all of the knowledge you could possibly want. And then Will and I did a visual essay on this. I'm not going to, say my stuff is the most educational thing in the world, but I really love what we did with it. Will wrote a really great essay. I hope people like that. But then we do even more. We've got a new video interview with the film professor, Alexandra Zaltan on pink film subgenre, which is really great. And then I have to hype the person that we talk about all the time with Deaf Crocodile, Walter Chaw. He wrote an essay on this, like he literally does for every single Deaf Crocodile release, and this is a given. He is permanently hired to do an essay in every booklet because Craig loves Walt Chaw, and Craig introduced me to his work, and I was enamored immediately. Every single essay that I've read from him is breathtaking, is motivating, is teaching you to watch and understand film in a way that you normally aren't going to like pressure yourself with. And hearing him speak on these things is just a completely different experience, and I completely hope that people actually take the time to read his essays, because it is immense in scope, it is immense in knowledge. The amount that he's able to metaphorically deliver sometimes is just incredible. He does so great with everything from silly animated movies like The Toon that Deaf Crocodile put out to these sort of deep, complex masterpieces. And I just, every single time, I'm blown away by what I'm able to read from him. So I'm excited that you showed off that you got this tonight, because this is even if I had not done anything for this release, this would be one of my favorites from the entire year.
I remember jumping into. I think you and I think Will was on the show when you guys were talking about that. That was the night that I decided to pick it up, because you guys were talking about. I knew nothing about the movie. I just knew the amount of work that went into the bonus features, and that's what sold me on it. Because I love nothing more than watching a movie and then just diving in and listening and reading everything I can to help shape my view on that.
Yeah.
So I loved it, man, and I'm so excited. I actually might watch it after this. Honestly, it's been a long day, but
you're out for the next 3 days. Why not?
I might as well just do it, right? I might as well.
Hope you love it.
And it's funny too, because I didn't want to let Will down. He had also mentioned about the unboxing videos I do on Instagram, and I promise him, if he's still out there, there is one coming. It's very cinematic. I think he'll appreciate it.
What was that word specifically used there? There's one coming.
Yeah, one. Yep. My finger on the G spot of the unboxing experiences.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
All right. Your second title from this year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go with a label that I feel like consistently puts out some of my favorite reading materials, and that's Second Sight Films. And I'm gonna go with The Brood on 4K. One, because this needed a 4K. I was patiently waiting for anybody to do this. I constantly feel like Cronenberg, sometimes it's a stretch, right, to take a academic dive into a movie. Sometimes like there's not a lot of depth there. And then you have filmmakers like Cronenberg, who it's like part of the experience is diving into it, right? It just comes like the nature of the film. There is a fantastic new audio commentary on this release. I know Kat Ellinger is one of them. The other is Martin Conterio. I hope I said the name right. It's a fantastic audio commentary, one that actually is I consider kind of like a companion to the movie. So it works very, very well. But in this booklet, this is a book. I don't say booklet.
Yeah.
There was a write-up in here. I'm going to find it right now. And it was Jen Adams wrote, "Loving the Children of My Rage, a powerful response to David Cronenberg's The Brood." I wasn't expecting a story or a written companion piece to this movie that was so incredibly personal and actually kind of like very kind of hit me emotionally. She talks about the similarities between the relationships in this movie to what she went through in real life. And I feel like that's something we don't get a lot of times with these films. You know what I mean? Like when you read these write-ups, they're essays, they're examinations. Genuinely made me go back and watch the movie again and kind of look at it. And the whole time I'm just thinking like, I can't imagine being in this situation. And then to me, it's even more powerful to then take your experience you go through and put it onto words and then have it printed for the masses to then consume. Yeah. I'm very lucky where I don't have children. I haven't had, crazy relationships or anything that allow me to emotionally connect to the movie on the depth that she does. But simply reading that write-up to me kind of felt like I could. You know what I mean? Of all the books, all the booklets that I read in a given year, that stands out to me so much. It's probably one of my favorite write-ups I've read in a really long time. So I couldn't not talk about that as a beautiful addition to an already fantastic release, man. Like this release was so good.
Yeah, Second Sight just kind of always does great work for the most part. I think there's only one or two releases on the extras that I was kind of underwhelmed, and mostly because it was just there was a lot of them that they were mostly archival. But booklets are always solid. Wanted to point out, I believe Martin Conterio, who did the commentary with Kat, I believe is Kat's husband now. Okay. I believe they got married, so probably hear them together on a bunch of things in the future. And yeah, like Craig said in the chat, Steve Bissett wrote an almost 700-page book on the Brood, so check that out if you have never heard of that.
Wow.
And when I mentioned Inflatable Sex to All the Wastelands, I spent a lot of time on Walt Chaw. I forgot to say that Alexandra Heller Nicholas also has an essay in that book as well. Great choices from Craig and Dennis over there for sure. Speaking of great choices, this is where I start to cheat because these next two releases are technically not out yet, but I've done so much for them. I really want to highlight more about them. One, we already talked about in the announcements tonight, and you probably already know what that's going to be, but I want to just kind of put a button on Deaf Crocodile real quick and talk about something. And Craig, I hope you're okay with this because you did say it in the Discord today, but not widely, although it is listed on your subscriptions, I guess. So one of the next titles going up for pre-order from Deaf Crocodile is a deluxe edition release of The Pied Piper. This is a film that they released a couple years ago when they were with OCN, and it came with not a bunch, but a couple short films from the director, Jiri Bartha. It came with the commentary, came with some other extras. I think there was a short booklet that came out with that one, if I remember right. It's been a while. But now that they are away from OCN and doing their own thing, and they've focused on these like hard box style releases for each of their films, The Pied Piper is back coming to print, but it is getting a deluxe edition release from Deaf Crocodile. Now, that film has not been in print for a while because they released it while they were with OCN, and to have it back in print, they've not been able to have it available on the site because they can't sell the old OCN release because that's out of print and they haven't redone it yet. So this deluxe edition, to make it worthwhile for everybody, this has a brand new second disc coming with it that has even more of the Jiri Bartha short films that were not released on the first one. And there's something special about this filmmaker. Like, The Pied Piper, if you've never seen it, is a magnificent, breathtaking stop-motion piece of magnificence that needs to be seen to be believed. It is absolutely his masterpiece, his best thing, probably by a long shot. But his short films are in their own ways all just incredible. Each one has its own very unique style. He has done things like recorded melting snow to be able to film it in stop motion. He has filmed in open air nature to be able to do stop motion in open air nature. He's got these like spooky gothic style horror movies. There's one that Craig and I both love that's one of these shorts that is so wild to watch, and it's got everything from gambling and vampires and blood transfusions, and this release, which Craig says he thinks is all of Barta's short films, this is taking an already stellar release with a really great film and making it a deluxe edition that's worth buying again for people that have that original release. And I'm so glad that I was able to do a little bit of stuff for it. It is going to be an incredible package. I mean, we've got people from the Hungarian film world that are talking on these films, that are delivering knowledge for stuff that has been around for decades and giving context to these. It is absolutely a monumental film. And again, for those that did not have it before, don't buy it on the secondhand market. You'll be able to pre-order it again very, very soon, less than a month away. It is just stupendous. And again, it's not animation in the classic sense of the word. It is a fully stop motion animation masterpiece, feature-length film that is so good.
Man, I really need to get my my animation knowledge up, dude. Seriously. Like I feel like it's such a lost thing for me. I need to just take the plunge and get into it, man. Seriously.
Yeah, animation is one of my favorite things, so I'm stoked to be able to assist some of this with Def Crocodile. Gary is asking, I missed you the first time. Is it available on Diabolic yet? No, it is being announced to be able to be shipping in July or August, I believe. It'll be announced next month in June. It'll be shipping shortly after that, so definitely check it out. It is incredible. Vispian is saying, I'm hoping Yuri Barta gets to finish his final film, The Golem, one last hurrah. And actually, it does get referenced, at least in a visual essay that is on here. Somebody close to Jiri was able to speak on it a little bit, and same thing, hoping that it comes out as well. So, yeah, it's incredible.
One thing that's great is like when I got an inflatable sex doll, I think I mentioned this before, only a town over from where Diabolic's out of. So shipping for me is so fast. It's just like, I literally will get the shipping notice, and then it's usually delivered next day. Like,
yeah.
I've actually told Jesse at the Monster Mania convention, I'm like, dude, can you just have like a pickup option? Like, can I just swing by a window and like grab my package, and then like I'll drive home, my 10-minute ride home.
So Pied Piper should be up for pre-order, I believe, the third Friday in June. Check it out. It is going to be an incredible release. The art for it, oh my gosh, you guys are not ready. The deluxe art is stupendous. All right, your turn. You got one more.
I do, yeah. More because of the celebration behind it. But I really want to shout out Ignite Films for this release of Reanimator on 4K. This movie looks fucking incredible, dude. Like, I am not the guy to look up side-by-sides for restorations, but oh my god, when I did, I was blown away. I had the Arrow Blu-ray of this, and this is a very worthy upgrade. But here's my favorite part of it, right? At this point, like, I read the Naked Theater and Uncensored Horror book, Stuart Gordon's book. He doesn't go too heavy into Reanimator, but I feel like everything that could be known about Reanimator is out there.
Right.
This release is much more just a celebration on the legacy of Reanimator than anything else, and it's almost like a for the fans by the fans. It has nearly 3 hours of newly produced bonus features. I think it's interviews. There's also I love that this has the 1977 documentary about Gordon's Organic Theater Company. It has some insights into the musical, the legacy. There's a great conversation with Jeffrey Combs, Barbara Crampton, and Brian Usna. A new interview with the editor. In my opinion, this is the ultimate release for just celebrating the legacy of this movie. And I think if you're a fan of Reanimator, this is the perfect release for you. And I think if you're discovering this movie, this is, again, the perfect entry point. I did think it was a little bit expensive, but
It's a lot of it expensive.
what I bought, I did not get the bobblehead. I just went for the, the gusto. The book is good. It is a nice hardback book. It's a little bit more basic insight into the movie. It doesn't really go too crazy. I did like that they kind of went into the history on Barbara Crampton and her evolution as an actress, and same with Jeffrey Combs through his evolution, which I like. Given those spotlights, I really liked. But yeah, I just think it's I don't know on your end. I felt like there was a lot of hate for this release briefly, and I couldn't understand why. Was it more confusion that Ignite Films put it out, or because now everybody's loving that they're doing Bride of Reanimator?
Well, nobody's loving that yet because we don't have details yet.
Yes.
But I think people are excited to get a 4K of that and have confirmation. I think the big thing is Ignite Films had not made a big enough splash to feel like they should get Reanimator. And the hard part is a lot of people didn't know that Ignite Films is working closely with Brian Usna. Like they have supposedly his catalog. It seems likely that they'll probably do Society as well. The other big thing is I think normalizing prices that are you said a little bit expensive. I would say fucking insane. Reanimator is a great film. This release is stupendous. They did a lot of work on it. I'm not taking that away, but Reanimator will also sell like 12,000 copies of a limited edition title, and they're charging $80 for that. The standard edition for the 4K is $50. The standard Blu-ray is $40. That is stupid money. That's not something that we should be selling out. And I'm a hypocrite. I'm holding it right now. At first, I decided I was not going to support it. And then literally a couple people that I trust said, this is an incredible upgrade and you would be insane to not have it. And so I kind of let that get to me. And I know that they're likely not going to go on sale, at least for the limited edition. But I mean, when Craig and Dennis can put this out for less than $30 and you get a deluxe edition with the hard box and a booklet that I think is on par to deliver the context of a film like Reanimator, that to me, it is absolutely horrendous to sell something like that for $80. When we're talking earlier about Terra Vision putting out a 4-disc release of Gatorbait and Gatorbait 2 for $55 with tons of work done to go from literally an independently released DVD to a 4K incredible upgrade, and they're able to sell that for $55, that is embarrassing for companies like Ignite to charge $80, for companies like Vinegar Syndrome to put out a 1-disc 4K release and charge $50 for it, for a company that is not super set in their ways and have people look at them and say, I can trust you. And in fact, somebody just asked about their bobbleheads. I know that we're going through a trade war and those were all made in China and all that stuff. But the fact that they are also delaying that release and it hasn't even been sent out yet to everybody, that's the sort of thing that loses trust in people. But an $80 release, which is your third release ever, and it's literally like twice as expensive as those other 2 releases, that is crazy pants money. And to sell one movie for $80 is something that I don't know. I don't think that we should be normalizing.
What is your take on, I guess, kind of branching off from this? When you look at a company like Celluloid Dreams, who does charge, $50 for $55 for, a 4K that does have new bonus features and all of that stuff. I mean, is that another company that you would kind of put in the same ballpark? Or because Case of the Bloody Iris wasn't cheap and neither was Short Night of Glass Dolls.
So I have Case of the Bloody Iris. I do not have Short Night of Glass Dolls. I do think that so far Celluloid Dreams has been too expensive. One thing that I think needs to be normalized is how much things cost. There's not a lot of transparency in the boutique world. And so I'm just going to share right now, I'm not going to name any names for companies, but I'm gonna let's talk about some bonus features. So a lot of times people talk about how much it costs to do bonus features, and as somebody that does not treat this as my day-to-day job, and I couldn't because it pays such shit. A lot of these people that are really great at commentaries, that are professionally doing commentaries, are maxing out usually at about $500 for a commentary.
Mhm.
That is usually shared if it's two people for one commentary. Sometimes if it's two or three, they might go to about 600 for some of these commentaries, but most people cannot even get paid $500 for commentaries. Will and I have never gotten paid that much money for one of us to do a commentary or anything.
Mhm.
It's kind of crazy. Um, but the hard part is you got to start thinking about, it's a commentary. How much research has to go into a movie to be able to talk about it for at least an hour and a half? Commentaries take weeks to prepare for. And if you're getting paid $500, you are literally making minimum wage.
Mhm.
You are, or less, literally, to be able to do that commentary. I know that many of these boutique companies would love to pay people more. It's just not really super feasible to keep these going because they don't sell 5,000 copies of inflatable sex dolls of the Wastelands.
Mhm. Mhm.
There are so many aspects of this that come into play, because now we can talk about interviews. Many of the people that they get that helped produce the film, they don't pay them for the interviews. They'll pay for the person to edit the feature. They'll pay for the person to film the feature. Lots of times they don't pay the person that's getting interviewed on these. On top of that, you have visual essays, you have written essays. Many of these people do these for free. They're like, I just love these movies and I want to be able to do something on it. And it's a lot of work to be able to provide something that gives context to these releases. And if you're a company like Criterion, you could have people that are genuine great academics lining up to do extras for free, and they just choose not to do them. Now,
Mhm.
the cost of adding them to the disc, how much is that? Not as much as you'd think. There's free space on the disc. They could add a commentary. There is authoring costs that will be slightly different for that, but not enough to say we're not going to make it up with even one Barnes and Noble sale.
Mhm.
A lot of these things people are doing for like pennies on what they should be getting paid, essentially. So the cost of new bonus features, probably not as high as you think.
And it's funny because as you said that, I glanced to my left where I have that Reanimator set on top of the Second Sight Brood set, and I'm pretty sure the Brood set was half the cost.
I think it was 50,
I
something
think
like that.
okay, so right about yeah. Um, how so on topic, but drifting further away, like how do we as consumers or anybody who's involved in this as far as like social media or anybody who has a platform, like what can we do to bring light to this other than just telling people not to buy? You know what I mean? Like how do we start?
I mean, the biggest thing is we should be, from all of these companies, demanding as much transparency as we possibly can. I appreciate companies like Def Crocodile who are completely open about their restoration work. So if they're able to do a restoration from an OCN, they will tell that to you. If they had a 2K scan that was delivered by the Hungarian Film Institute, they'll tell that to you. If it was from an interpositive that was found in an attic in Czechoslovakia, they'll tell us. It's that sort of thing where that is the start of the transparency. And then you have a company like, I mean, I don't want to like shit talk anybody, but there's some of these like Shout Factory. We rarely get actual details on their releases unless it's the OCN. And then they're very happy to explain that. They're more
Yeah.
than happy to say we got a 4K from the OCN, but if it was an OCN, we're going to be kind of quiet about it and not tell you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting, man, because still y- still like we find ourselves like I remember when the Reanimator announcement came out, I had a brief second where I looked at the price and I kind of had like a quick you know, like and then I
Right.
ended up doing it just because of my love for the movie. But then you think back and you're like, well, it just kind of supported the thing that doesn't feel good. You know what I mean?
Right. And I'm going to bring up a counter argument to what I just said. This is a pickup that I was going to show on next week's show because I don't have a lot coming next week. So preview, and maybe I won't show it. But I literally just got in this Hammer 4K release of Shatter. I have been picking up some of these that I don't have Blu-ray releases for, and I think this was $50 for me. And the stuff that Hammer is doing for their releases is kind of insanity. Like, you're getting like 4 5-disc releases with like every bonus feature ever made for a title, every trailer that they could find, every person giving context to the film. People that are still alive are giving new interviews. They're getting people to write in a big booklet. All of this sort of thing is really great, and that provides the context. And this is cheaper than Reanimator for a film that has been talked about way less, that doesn't need a 10,000 sellout run to make their money back. If Hammer can do it, why couldn't we get that for Reanimator?
Well, just to create a counter argument, because I've heard this before, and I agree with you, but then some people will say, well, Hammer already they're not paying for rights.
Well, that's the thing. They could still jack up the price. I'll give the example in response to that. Lionsgate owns Vestron, and every single one of their titles, they charge upwards of $25 to $30 for, now that they're back and locked into the Lionsgate limited site. And they had a run for like 8 spines that they put out that were pretty cheap. But before that, they were all about $30 when they were released. They didn't have to pay licensing for any of those, and a lot of them didn't have great restorations, and they didn't have a ton of extras. Why are they charging $30 for a cheap slipcover for a film that they didn't need a license?
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, but FOMO is definitely a part of it. Yeah, it's just interesting, man. And I wanted to ask because obviously you have much more insight than I have on it. I don't buy nearly as much as friends of mine do. You know what I mean?
Jesus Christ, Danny. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Danny from Australia just commented, Ignite doesn't even ship to Australia. Reanimator from other sources, so it's the Ignite release from other sources, are charging 200 Australian dollars for the deluxe limited edition.
Christ. I even think about, like, just because you mentioned Australia, I even think about, like, I think I paid $70 for the Super Mario Brothers 4K, the one-up box,
and that was on sale.
Which, yeah, but like for what you get in that set, you know what I mean? For the $60, I felt the book alone, you know what I mean, that came in it. But
yeah,
I guess it depends. I don't know, man. I mean, it's just such an interesting. It makes me wonder. Like, it makes me wish Ignite could come out and be like, "Hey, we've made millions of dollars from this." Ha ha ha. You know what I mean?
Let's be honest. Nobody in the boutique world is making millions of dollars on a single release. However, we can look at straight numbers, and I don't mean to, like, I'm not. We'll say one of the bigger boutique labels last November sold out of an exclusive title that they released in November and sold like 12,000 copies of a brand new limited edition set, plus another like 1,500 or 2,000 copies of a standard edition in 36 hours. And if you add up how much that costs, in one title in 36 hours, they made more than $500,000. Now, that being said, that's not all profit. I get that. I guarantee that the licensing, because it was a big mainstream title from a big director, was probably pretty expensive. They probably had to pay a lot to Paramount to be able to get that title in their lab, to be able to take care of it. The picture of that sitting in the outgoing leaked. Everybody knew it was coming. It was a big deal. That being said, they did not have to pay anywhere near $500,000 to talk about to release that film. It is nowhere near that. They made more money in one 36-hour sale of one title, of which at that time they released like 11 titles, than most of these boutique companies will make in a single year. That needs to be something that people are understanding, is many of these companies are struggling to survive And all of us that are all foaming at the mouth for a release of a Michael Mann film from the 80s that is a jumbled mess could go to support many of these smaller boutique labels that deserve a lot of that money. It is really crazy to see companies like Third Window out of the UK, and to see Adam, who just celebrated 20 years of Third Window films, sitting on titles that are limited to 2,000 copies multiple years after they're released. Literally.
Yeah.
And they're great films, and he's a one-man company. And without him, there are tons of films that would have never gotten a great release. I mean, one of my favorite films from the last 10 years, which I freaking love, if you had not had Third Window Films give a lot of love to the what it is, the title that I'm thinking of, the Hollywood edition just came out recently, and I don't know why I'm not thinking of it. The Japanese movie, 1 second, please. I don't remember what it's called. One Cut of the Dead. Third Window Films made that title explode. It is crazy that they could, like, from that one title that did very well, that subsidized probably a year and a half of Adam keeping Third Window alive. But they've got titles that people just won't support because they're not Reanimator. Yeah. And yet people are clamoring to spend $80 on Reanimator. And so, Gary, yes, for some companies, those big wins subsidize the lesser titles. But at the same time, some of these bigger companies are literally paying nothing to license these lesser titles. They're paying very little. It is crazy. And the reality is, from that one title, I don't know the answer. I'd have to ask about it. But like, all of the licensing for the entire year was probably paid by what they made from that one title.
And think about now, they're going to charge $80 for Bride of Reanimator. If they do Society, there's another $80 title. Yeah, it's, and then it makes me think, because obviously I'm a huge supporter of Severin, and people always are going to complain, but I saw people complaining about, the $160 price tag for the Black Emanuel set. And I remember just being like, do you guys see what's here? Like, right. 160, like, we talked about Severin and how great their prices were for what they had coming out for their newest slate, So sometimes I think it's perspective, it's pulling back and kind of looking at everything from above. Even like I always forget his, like, Cliff Twemlow, is that how you say the name?
Yep.
Even that being, I think, how much was that set? Like less than $100, right?
I think it was like 80.
Yeah, for 10, 11 films, soundtrack, all the new stuff on there. Like, that's amazing to be paying $10 a title plus all the new bonus features, the packaging, everything else. So it's a tough one, man, because I have nothing bad to say about the Ignite Reanimator release except the price. You know what I mean? Like, I love the bonus features. As a massive fan of Reanimator, I love the release. And I think at that time I was just more excited, so I didn't look at the price in that way. But now looking back, I'm like,
well, and I should say, I'm not looking down on you or anybody that was excited about Reanimator and bought it. I'm not questioning your ability to do it. I'm more worried about what we just said about Bride of Reanimator. Bride of Reanimator, I like the movie. It's a significantly worse movie than Reanimator. It is much worse. Bride of Reanimator does not deserve an $80 4K. However, it is quite likely that it is going to be released by Ignite for the exact same price, because they saw that they could get away with it.
But and the other thing to remember too is I get messages anytime I put up a picture of my collection about the Arrow Bride of Reanimator limited edition Blu-ray I have. And people had offered me like $120 to sell it to them. So people are willing to put out more than that just to get that original Blu-ray release. So then you put that into the equation. You know what I mean? And it gets because, like, for transparency, I actually sold my Arrow Blu-ray set to a friend of mine, and I ended up only paying $10 extra for this 4K release. I didn't create that price for him. He was like, hey, look, this is what I'll sell. This is what I'll buy it for you from. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. I think I paid $60 for it, like maybe 4 years ago. You know what I mean? Like on the resale market.
So, you know what's really cool is the Arrow Reanimator release is the first title that got me back into boutique collecting way back in the day. And there was an error price on Amazon. I got the limited edition of Reanimator for $16.
Man, dude. Oh my God. It's, I don't know, man. I even think about, I don't know if you remember. I'm trying to remember how much I paid for the Second Sight Dawn of the Dead 4K.
When it came out, it was $112.99, I believe, or $112.50.
112.
Yeah.
Even that I feel a lot better about.
Well, it's a, I believe, 6-disc release with 2 books in a hardbox release, and is not available and has not been available for years. Reanimator's been released like 17 times.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Interesting. I was not expecting this discussion, but
Me neither.
You know, yeah, because when I saw them announce Bride of Reanimator, I was like, all right, that's cool, but I don't know if I like Bride of Reanimator. I hate Beyond Reanimator. Society is cool. I just rewatched Society like a couple mornings. Actually, Memorial Day morning, I watched Society. I figured there's no better way to celebrate people like my dad and my grandpa than watching a shunting. You know, but like I watched that Arrow and I was like, I don't know if I would ever really need this in 4K. You know what I mean? So
we got a comment from Jake here that says, I don't mind the higher price since they are only doing 1, maybe 2 titles a year. It needs to keep the lights on. And I got to be honest, Jake, I don't want to like say this is a bad take or anything. I don't get the logic behind this, because the reality is all this is saying to a company is if you release less and it's the same product, you're free to charge more if you just do 1 title a year. If it costs them the same price to release a title that's they can sell for $25 and they can sell for $75, and it's okay for them to sell it for $75 just because they don't release more every month, that doesn't seem right to me. If you're just straight taking advantage of people and saying we need to survive, so you just need to essentially subsidize our company. They're providing you a product. It needs to be worthwhile for what they're charging.
I think the other way to look at it too is like basic business practice, which is if I'm going to charge $80 and I sell 6,000 of them, you know, what if I charge $40 and I just sell 12,000 of them, because I'm opening up that accessibility? You know what I mean? There are so many people who could not afford that $80 price tag who are not going to buy it. Now you cut that in half and you just aim to sell double, especially with a title like that.
Right.
You know, you end up in the same boat. So I get if you're going to release like a title nobody's ever heard of, you know, I can understand. But Reanimator, I'm sure easily at half the price could sell the same or could sell double. You know what I mean? Creating more.
You know what's crazy is obviously we'll never know the answer to this, but if you actually price it out and look at the numbers, I'm willing to bet that the number of people that would buy a deluxe Reanimator at $80 is pretty close to the number of people that would buy a deluxe Reanimator for $50. But when you break it down, a lot of us have monthly budgets of what we can spend on this. Mm-hmm. And for the amount of people that could get an extra release from a small company with that extra $30 that you're charging them, you're talking about, I don't mind the price because it's keeping the lights on because they don't release as much. If they're charging $80, how many companies are they putting out of business because other people can't support Third Window Films or Deaf Crocodile or Terra Vision or some of these partner labels through OCN that only do 5 or 6 releases a year, or a company that is independently doing everything on their own and barely putting anything out, and they only charge $20. I mean, look at the company that we just got this double feature from South America from that is absolutely incredible. It's not great to give them an out like that logically when so many other companies are struggling to stay open while trying to release as much as they can.
Yeah, and I just want to I want to see if I can find it. Just so people know, because I don't think we talked about the price. We've been talking a ton about inflatable sex doll, the Wastelands. That's $33, $33.95.
Yeah,
That's crazy, man. Like how affordable that is. You know what I mean? For what you're getting. And yes, it's a lesser known title, but $33. If I had $33 open up in my budget, I'm sure I'd be, supporting even smaller labels too, I don't know. It's like you said though, I do think it's dangerous because it's going to prove the labels that like, hey, we can charge more for this.
And it has proven that. We've seen some of these companies get openly greedy. And when a company comes out on their third release and charges $80, that should be a giant red flag for a lot of people.
Well, I'm trying to remember their release of Invaders from Mars was not $80, I don't think.
No, it might have been 40 or 50 at
That's
most.
what I thought. I thought it was like $44, and it was a big box release, right? It was pretty.
It was not a big box release.
Oh,
it was a shitty slipcover in around a 4K case.
Okay, that's still expensive. Yeah.
I mean, it's expensive for what it was, but it's not like, oh my god, nobody's charging this much.
Yeah. I don't know, man. That's I was trying to look back to see if like anything else. I guess. Yeah. I don't know. I was trying to see if I could find another example. But
Screen Factory is my big one right now. They've raised the prices across the board on all their 4Ks, and now like a regular 4K disc that comes from them with no new extras is $40.
Oh, when I upgraded my copy of The Burning to the 4K in preparation for our podcast episode, and I gasped when I went on Amazon, and that shit was still over $30. I was like,
yep.
Oh my god! Every time, it's been a long time since I bought something new from Screen Factory because their price is always like I want What Lies Beneath on 4K. It has a nearly feature length documentary on it. I love that. I'm not paying $40 for it.
I think I am about to have it. I think the only reason I'm getting it is because it was a part of the Target buy two get one sale, and got in the pre-order for a much cheaper price. I'm not going to be buying it brand new from Shout Factory ever. There's no reason to.
Yeah, same with like they put out like from Shout Factory. They put out Alexander, which was one I was like, oh, that's a cool 4K. Even like the Blaxploitation Classics sets, like
yeah, it's not a bad price.
I was like, but same with, and I don't know, I think you probably talked about it last week, but like you and I talked briefly about the Bava set that they announced. It's funny because like I look at a set like that and I want it so bad, but I still haven't pulled the trigger on it. I want those movies. I don't care. I don't need them on 4K.
Right.
But then I'm thinking like, is this worth after everything, it's $199 or $197.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For 12 movies, it comes out to be like $14 a movie. But still, man, it's like, and then I always feel like they're aware because then they make it a site exclusive. They limit it to 2,500. So they add these little tiny things that make you, oh man, it's limited. Oh, it's only a site exclusive. Okay.
Yep.
So, I don't know. That's
this was a hell of a conversation that I did not know was going to happen.
3 hours and 3 minutes, and I'm pretty sure all 3 episodes of this I've been on have ended like this.
That makes sense. And I still haven't even talked about my third title, so I'll just.
Oh my god! Please stop.
I'll just really quickly share because it fits right in with this. I know I mentioned it talking about the good pricing, but I really want to highlight Gatorbait because I don't think this is a big enough deal. I know that we, just announced it tonight. It's not like getting all the press or anything that it's needed to get yet. It hasn't even had a day to live in everybody's minds. Oh, you got Spider Labyrinth. Thanks, Kubrick Lover. Hope you check out that visual essay and commentary. It's a great release. Gatorbait 1 and 2 are films that are this like redneck exploitation that doesn't get covered in a great way because it's very specifically bayou and Louisiana, complete through and through in a way that is captured beautifully. I mean, for those that have never seen these movies, like Claudia Jennings in the first movie is a badass that is driving this fast as hell boat, like actually driving it herself through these swamps. She is incredible in that first movie. It's framed like this movie that's going to be like leering and very like male gaze type of film, and it's not even that first film is not even truly like that. Like there's a couple scenes that are maybe ever so slightly titillating, but then the second film comes in and it gets very sleazy. The second film is a very different tone altogether. um these two movies together are telling this very long connected story of this like enduring family legacy in the swamp that people can't escape. They're clearly living in poverty, clearly living in a lifestyle that's not real great for them, but there's just nothing that can get them out of it. And
Mm.
the extras that are on this, so I mean, to be able to have Joe Bob Briggs speak about both of these movies specifically for this release is legendary. The fact that we have Beverly Sebastian doing a brand new audio commentary on both of these movies, it's not going to be as great as it would have been in say 1975. However, even though the whole family has sort of left the exploitation world and turned to the idea of Christianity and religion, it's still going to be an interesting conversation for everybody. And then, not to toot our own horn, but Will and I covering these two films with our commentaries, these were two of the first three commentaries that we ever recorded. These commentaries were recorded almost 2 full years ago, and they're smart, they're well put together. I'm very proud of the things that we talk about and the way that we talk about them. These two movies deserve to be rediscovered by multiple generations of film fans, and without archiving these films in HD and in a way on home video that people can pick them up, appreciate them, talk about them, discover them, love them, and get the context, it's crazy. And that would be enough. And then we add new interviews with like half the family for both films. We get Claudia Jennings' brother to be able to talk about her. Like that's a huge thing. And her whole story is one of the most tragic out there. But all of that delivered to you for $55. At least for this first week. The introductory pricing will go up in 7 days. So if you haven't bought Gator Bait already, and I know it's only been up for like 4 or 5 hours or whatever, but it will go up a week from today. I believe they said it was going to go up to $65. So to get in at the cheapest rate, you buy early, and you can lock in that super big bundle if you want, or you can just get the deluxe edition. It's a crazy release. I am immensely proud that I was able to help with these films. It's going to be genuinely one of the best releases of the year, I think.
I mean, your guys' commentary tracks are incredible. Like when we chose Spider Labyrinth, we chose it because of, well, I picked it because I love the movie. I didn't even listen to your guys' commentary track yet. And then when I did, it was amazing. I mean, honestly, like you and Will's commentary track for Spider Labyrinth, I think, is the reason the podcast became what it did, because that track really showed me the potential in what we were doing on the podcast. You know what I mean? So I definitely think people need to. You're not allowed to be titillated at all. I don't think.
I was about to type a response, Gary, but after tonight, you are absolutely allowed to be titillated.
You're right.
With how everything has gone down tonight. Why did I say gone down? Damn it!
Oh my god. But yeah, that's all. That's just my 2 cents. I'm gonna buy that for sure. Absolutely.
I'm glad. Yeah, the commentaries there are an important one, and I'm glad that we finally will be able to hold the disc. I feel like we worked on those in a different era of my life. I mean, I think I finally submitted those in like September or October of 2023, and I'm a different person than I was then. Absolutely a different person.
Yeah. I don't even remember September of 2023.
What's crazy is the first commentary that we ever recorded still's not even been announced. Like we're waiting on pins and needles to find out that this company's finally announcing it. We heard maybe by the end of this year, so we'll see.
I can't I can't like fathom the amount of anxiety I would have doing something for a company. I get anxiety about stuff that I'm doing just for my own self. I can't imagine doing something for another company, you know?
That doesn't go away. I still worry every single time. I send something in and I'm like, oh, they're gonna discover that I'm a fraud, that I'm fucking terrible.
Dude, I'm the type of person who's like, every time like I come on this or I go on the podcast, I'm like, please don't sound like a fucking idiot. Please don't sound, you know, you get, like anytime you're doing something live or you're recording, you always say something and you're like, yep. I know that was wrong, but for some reason I just said that anyway. You know what I mean? Like you.
I I probably shouldn't reveal this, but we end. I think it was Gatorbait 2. We end with one of the funniest things we've done on any of our commentaries, and I cannot wait to hear some people that actually listen to the commentary comment on it because it's so fucking funny.
I remember during the Spider Labyrinth one when Will points out the butthole. I forget exactly how he says it, and there was like a brief pause in the commentary after that, and I was like, I know this is edited, but I like to think that was just a moment of because you can hear Will slowly getting to it, like you can start getting there, and then he says it, and then there's just a pause of, okay, let's gather ourselves now. Let's get
I truly think we peaked on that front with the Felidae release from Deaf Crocodile when we were using puns like sadomeowsichism.
Sadomeowsichism. I tell you, man, you're really hitting the. I was about to say something insane. I'm not going to say that.
All right, after the conversation on budgets, there's so much that I just want to go into. I mean, any questions? I hope most people listening or watching live understand that I am an open book. I can share as much as I can without, if I feel like it would put something in danger, I'm not going to share it, but I will happily like give a range or share how things happened or anything. So if anybody ever wants to know something, just DM me. Not to use this as like to promote or anything like that, but this is a really good conversation to have openly in my Discord. If you want to be a part of that, the link for the Patreon is below. Like, this is the sort of thing all these people, we have people from Vinegar Syndrome, we have people from Terra Vision, we have people from Deaf Crocodile, we have people from theaters, we have people that work for big streamers, we have people, we have at least one or two filmmakers, I believe, that are all in the Discord and having these conversations in the Discord openly. Like, everybody gets to learn from that and then share that information throughout the world, and everything gets better because more information is always better. So if you ever want to have more of those conversations, come join the Discord. We'd be thrilled to talk about them there. Other people can provide more of their experience. I mean, there's people from tons of the podcasts on our network in there. We'd love to have you, so come check it out. Other than your show, anything else you want to shout out for you? I know you're back on YouTube. You want to talk about that at all?
Yeah, I mean, I just started going back on and just kind of talking about stuff that I've been watching. It's nothing like, I don't have a set schedule for it. I don't have any like even expectations. Once I watch a couple of things that I feel like I'm ready to talk about, then I'll make a nice casual. Somebody left a comment on my last video and said this was like hanging out with a friend at a bar you haven't seen in a while. So that's kind of the style I want to bring to it. Definitely expect a video on probably a more focused video on like inflatable sex all the wastelands. Like, once I get through that, same thing with that I do on the podcast. I really want to put an emphasis on the bonus features and kind of my experience watching. I think I try not to be a reviewer because I feel like the term review gets too much into specs. I'm always just more like, tell me your thoughts on the movie. Like, that's what's most important to me, and that's kind of what I try to do on that. But yeah, I mean, I'm not really chasing subs on there, but yeah, if you want to hang out and just kind of chat, that's where my Instagram is where I think I put the most work into outside the podcast. I'm hitting the G spot of the unboxing experience.
You said that like 4 times tonight, and it gets more unsavory each time.
Honestly, It rolls off the tongue so much better.
Okay, okay.
I know. I think what Will said on one of your shows that it was that he compared my videos to like a housewife being advertised a refrigerator in the 50s, which is just great.
We'll get you an apron for sure.
Oh, 100%, man. I can't.
All of Chris's links are in the description. Follow him on YouTube. Follow him on Instagram. Subscribe to the podcast. Next episode will be dropping on the 1st of June. And then the second season coming up here real soon. You get a whole season you can catch up with. Great stuff over there. Appreciate you guys. Welcome to the network. I'm excited to post about that tomorrow and share with the world that you're here. Yeah, I wanted to definitely say the next couple months, trying some new things on Reconnected. So wanted to tease this ever so slightly. Chris has been here 3 times. I'm going to try to bring on some people that have never been on here before. So over the next couple weeks, we've got some returning favorites. We got Will next week. We got a couple weeks in a row for some people that you've seen before. And then we got some people that you've never met. We've got somebody that has been a filmmaker. We've got somebody that works in QC. I've got somebody that runs another podcast network that's coming on. I've got some people that are in the Discord. I've got some people from some other channels. I've got a lot of really, really fun, exciting people that have agreed to come on. I'm booked all the way through like the middle of September, which is wild to me. Love all of you and spending Thursday nights with you. What's crazy, and this is not meant to be said to guilt trip anybody, but after going back into the office and being forced in there by this terrible presidential administration at the moment, it is currently 11:45 and I have to wake up for work in 5 hours. And I'm okay with that because I derive so much of my joy every week from this community, and you deserve to know that and deserve to feel that. I appreciate you more, and you keep me sane way more than I absolutely deserve. And I'm grateful for you, including you, Chris. Thanks for doing this 3 times.
Dude, I'm grateful for you, man. Thank you. I hope to, I think if you got an opening in October for my birthday, I think that'll be a good time to return, you know?
Birthday streams are always fun.
Yeah. 34.
34. All right. My show and all that stuff, subscribe, whatever, and all the fun stuff. You know where all that's at. Links are all in the description for everything. We'll see you on the Discord if you're in there. Until next Thursday, have a good one. We'll talk soon. See you. Thank you for watching The Disconnected. On the way out, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, that you've liked the video, and that you've copied the link to be able to share it with someone else that may appreciate this.